Oh, we're just straight into it, TA, straight into it. We're bitching about smoking. Let's go. What's happening, Dale?
Well, it continually gets worse. These stories in the media now, they're like you've seen all the stuff that happened with the budget, and they put 150 million for federal agents to go around and they've busted everyone on the coast here, so it's very hard to get them. But now they're talking about like an outright nicotine ban,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they never call it tobacco; they call it nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
So outright, and this was a set goal about 6 years ago,
Hmm.
and they named 2030 to be, and it was Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK, and it might have been America. So all the same countries that push the jab the hardest, all the same countries that push feminism, all the ones that are got a
57 genders.
yeah, all those ones, yeah, but they're all the British
Your
most
colony type countries,
British
yeah.
colony type countries. And I'm like, okay, was that the British Empire? Or is it because of the bloodline of like the Anglo Celt, whatever you want to call it, that specific bloodline? Because they're not doing it in the Balkans or Eastern Europe, or do you know what I mean? They're not cracking down. So it's not a white thing.
Well, they're doing it in
It's,
Japan. Yep.
well, Japan's the other one too, because they kind of follow the Western
They
agenda.
do.
They've
Yeah.
got, I think they've got a lower birth rate than Australia. We're 1.4 now, which under 1.43 is extinction level. And I think Japan, don't quote me on it, but like Japan's like under one, like well
Yeah.
under one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean,
But yeah, I think they're really going to push for a full nicotine ban.
Going to be like smoking weed used to be back in the 80s. We'll have to hide around
yeah,
the
I know.
corners. But we've
It's
got a nicotine like receptor system, in our bodies, right? And a cannabinoid receptor too. So
yes.
Yeah, but
interesting that they're both
it's got to
illegal.
be, it's got, I don't know whether it's to do with tech and stuff. What?
Jeez, mate.
Hang on.
We're interesting enough. He's walked off.
Oh, quick. Well, hello, Tartaria
Hello.
Australia. We have missed the
Sorry, I
last
had
few
another phone call.
shows.
What were we saying?
We were
Wait,
just introducing ourselves while you so rudely just got up and
Oh,
walked
yeah, well,
away.
start.
I don't know. What were we saying? Yeah, nicotine receptors, cannabinoid receptors. Of
yeah.
course, the whole, jabby thing, like nicotine played a big part in that as well, right? So,
But it's all related, and it's all related to those specific countries and specific bloodlines. And they're the ones that are pushing where the data centers are all going in. So, like,
oh,
what,
there's data
what is
centers
it?
going.
Do you know what I mean? Well, most of them, the ones we're hearing about.
Yeah,
Well,
that's,
I
yeah.
mean, think about it. Like tobacco and marijuana are the two substances they will not ever use with programming. So if you go through MK Ultra or any of those programs, or even talk to anyone who understands predictive programming, those two substances are not ever used because they break through programming. They break programming down. So, and when they did the war on tobacco, or, all those years ago, because tobacco was really common, right? Like you'd see it in all the TV shows and all the movies, but it
Mm.
wasn't rolling tobacco. It was the chemical tobacco. It was the Marlboros and the Marlboro Man. And like, they were pushing that type of tobacco, that chemically enriched, fucked up inversion of tobacco. Dale, I hope you've changed over, my friend.
Yeah, you better be smoking
You,
Manitou, dude. Jeez.
stop it. Um,
But Kelly, you make a good point because you're saying if it's a deprogramming thing,
yeah.
okay, again, why these countries or these specific bloodlines, right?
Yep.
And Tom Barnett said on he was talking about racism, did a whole video on racism the other day, and he was saying like not no race is like better than any other race, but to say that races don't have certain things more than others,
Traits.
right?
Mm.
Traits. And he said the white men, or particularly those bloodlines, are very hard to control. They've been the most manipulated, but he said they're very hard to
Yeah, yeah,
control. So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that's it.
I truly believe because we this is in the show. You'll see this on Saturday. Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
literally, there's certain substances that are the most toxic, and then there's that are the most that program your brain the most, and then there's two, only two, which is nicotine and tobacco that blocks programming, right? Always blocks the programming. So yeah, you do know what the number one substance is. We're going to ruin it for the show, but But do you know
Blocks
what the
programming.
number one toxic, like the number one
Oh, toxic.
they use
Well,
for programming?
to make you susceptible to programming. Oh no,
Well,
well, and
This
also
is
the one that they put in your face the most in shows and
yeah,
so are we talking a substance?
yeah.
yes, you've
So
probably
like
got it in front of you right now,
foods
Mister.
and stuff. Really?
It's the number one thing you will see on all TV, movies, everything to do with their media that they push out. You will see it in every scene, in every fucking series, TVs, movies, you name it. Number one, the most highly neurotoxic substance in the world makes you the most susceptible to programming. What is
Wheat,
it, Dale?
wheat,
No,
sugar.
no.
Oh, water.
Oh,
No.
God, hope not.
Well, some of the water, down water,
I'm not. Am
maybe.
I going to guess it? I'm not going to
No,
guess it.
well, look down. Is what's in your mug?
Tea.
Oh, it's not tea then. Thought you might have had a coffee in there.
I was going to say coffee. Please don't. My mother would
It's
love you.
coffee. It's
It's
coffee. It's
coffee, man.
coffee.
It's devastating. I've still
Yeah.
got to get off it.
It is the number one neurotoxic drug that engages your mind in programming. So if you look at any TV show, series, movie, every scene will have some reference to coffee. They're drinking it, they're at a coffee shop, they've got coffee in the background, they're around coffee. There's coffee in every motherfucking scene. Yep.
Well, it was pushed on the culture, the whole Starbucks thing, and obviously Bill Gates owned Starbucks, didn't
I think just
he?
recently he got it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the
There you
first
go.
one ever. I went to the first Starbucks ever. It's in Seattle. It's like a thing. But yeah. Okay, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all.
And of course, Starbucks, right? The symbol,
Well, we should do a whole show
mermaid.
on the history of coffee.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep.
yep. And we should do a whole show on it because the coffee shops became a thing all at once. You know, it's like vegetables being released into the population. It happened all at once. And coffee's the same.
Well, yeah.
Suddenly,
Do you
coffee,
remember all the coffee palaces
coffee
that you
palaces,
see through
yes.
Tartaria, right? These
Yep.
massive, massive buildings called coffee palaces.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, I remember
Yeah.
I was visiting my cousin in Milan, and we went to go watch a football game, and like in the winter there it's dark at about 3 o'clock. So it must have been about it was just getting dark, so it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we went to like some little cafe, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'll grab a cappuccino or something," and they actually laughed at me, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, they go, "You don't drink coffee after I don't know 10 or 11 or whenever they do it." But they were repulsed and they thought like the guy's not even going to make one for you. So like they won't do it. Whereas here,
Funny.
we'll have a coffee
Yeah.
late in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've had coffee at night, man. It doesn't really keep me up.
And you got to think too, Caleb, like how controlled Australia is. What is Australia like known for? It's got the biggest coffee culture in the
Oh,
world. In the world.
massive, massive.
Probably it's ridiculous.
And look at
Cafes
Melbourne.
everywhere, right?
Yeah.
We could trace the targeted programming via coffee. We could trace where coffee was placed, where it became integrated into society, where it's become the largest consumer model in the world. We'll show you the most programmed countries.
Really?
You know, coffee you can follow, and now you can even follow
Oh,
it overlaid by the same countries removing tobacco and trying so hard to, make marijuana like the most illegal drug in the whole damn world. So like you can see it, it's very obvious. Weirdly enough, I've never
Mm.
drunk a cup of coffee
Yeah, well,
ever.
they were
Oh,
clearly
no.
losing the marijuana war, right? That's why it's all gone government now, so they can spray it with all their crap,
yeah.
control what we're getting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so there you go. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Hey,
You
everyone
know,
out
you know
there.
in movies, like at the start, especially like a lot of times when the hero meets the mentor or the wise old man, he's like
Mhm.
smoking. A lot of the time, he's smoking. Like in a never-ending story, he goes in the bookstore and the guy's got a pipe, or like when Frodo first meets Gandalf, he's blowing this. Like, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
always associated with like
wisdom.
wisdom and yeah, the teacher.
Man, I will never, no matter what diet or health thing I'm on at any given time, I will never give up smoking. I will never do it because I've never drunk a cup of coffee and I don't know why that's happened. And I've always microdosed on weed and tobacco, so like that's a combination for an unprogrammed scenario. So yeah.
Ali, I love a coffee and a smoke, so are they completely counterbalancing each other out?
Yes, I'm going with that
They're
argument,
not, no.
Dale, definitely.
You keep the tea going. The tea's the answer, Dale. Tea.
I do like tea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so hi everyone. Cam and I missed the last two shows. I was at Prana Fest last weekend and I can't remember what happened the weekend before, but something came up. So welcome
Mm,
back, everyone. And
yes, we're back.
we've got Mr. Holmes in the house. So
Yes.
what's
Who, of course, will be joining us on the 27th in Katoomba in the Blue Mountains. Get
Oh,
your
this is
ticket
shaping up
now.
to be a fun gig. I tell you what, we've got the musicians in Dale. We've never done this before. It's like
Yeah.
it's a creative
Tell me how the music's going to go, because you got the recording studio. How are you going to do that?
well, we lost
Wow.
it.
Oh, you lost it now.
We did. We got
Yes,
kicked
they
out.
cancelled on us, the bastards.
Fuck, what are you going to do? Where are you going to do it? Are you not?
Well,
No.
Yeah, we're
no,
doing
no,
it.
we rented the hall that we've got for
Oh,
four
yeah, that's
days
right.
now, so they're going to be practicing and playing there.
We always get kicked out at the last moment. We're so used
I
to it. It
know,
doesn't
right?
phase us ever now,
Our
but
reputation
basically
precedes us everywhere.
basically there was too many musicians for the studio and they freaked out. So which is better because now we've hired like a theatre, which is we've got for 4 days. So musicians have 2 days to get their musical heads on and sync up and strive for synergy and see what it looks like when all these unknown musicians come together from the community and do something together. Like it's a creative experiment, which obviously I fucking love. And we're going to do it and record the concert. So the recording we make of the concert will end up being a vinyl record. It's
Or,
going to be
or,
very
or a
exciting.
TDK cassette tape.
Or a CD. It's just
Is
not going to
CD
be.
retro enough? I guess they came out in the 80s. All right, we can go
It's just not
CD.
going on fucking Spotify. I refuse.
I
Yeah.
need one of them to write an intro music song for my and Madeline's podcast,
Oh,
because
Okay.
we've been getting episodes deleted for copyright because I just have like a
oh
20.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know, right? You need your own music, mate. You need your
but
own band.
they never used to do that. And I only play like a slight, and then they've been taking episodes down. So like I need some original music.
Yes, well, that's why we started this because we also wanted some original music. So, and at the Jolly Swag Tour, Felice came forward with her first TA song, and that's where the whole idea came from. And she's in the Blue Mountains, so we went to the Blue Mountains, and now it's snowing, and it's going to be fantastic. And it's really hard for everyone
Yes.
to get to. It's a Jolly Swag Tour because it's a fucking mission to get to the Blue Mountains for everyone, and we're going to be so
Mm.
cold. Rug up,
You're
everyone.
gonna have to
Done
bring
that.
out the Catmandu jacket that I haven't
Yes,
worn for about 7 years.
Yeah, I
yes,
had to go
bring
and
it
buy a
out.
new jacket. I'm a bit scared to tell you the truth, but it's going to be awesome, guys. 4 days, 3 days, yeah.
Yep.
Concert, full 8 hours, and then a Sunday with Dale and a
Mr.
few other
Holmes.
special guests.
Yes, and we'll see how it all unfolds. And of course, the social night on Saturday night, which is always really fun. And we should have about 100 and something people there. So watch out, Katoomba RSL. We're coming. Hope you get this morning. But yeah, it's going to be a fucking excellent weekend. And that's like literally in 2 weeks. Something, yeah, it's in 2 weeks.
In two
It's
weeks, yes.
yeah, Saturday of 2 weeks.
Mm.
Woo! Anyway, it'll be really great, Dale, because you'll get to see the whole show. You haven't seen one for ages.
No, it's been
And
a while.
yeah,
Mm.
catch up on the theories. Did you watch our Catacomb episodes?
I did, yeah.
What
Oh,
did you think?
I watched one for one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
super
that the one about the Empire of the Dead? The very first one?
yeah.
Interesting. Hey, what were your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's another I mean, I found it really interesting about the bones. Like, I mean, you've
Remembering.
spoken about the graves and stuff before,
Yeah.
but yeah, it goes back to like when me and Nikki were looking at like this golden blood and stuff, and it's all about storing information. That's what I think. And obviously, if you're storing bones, and then go into like my theory that the human being is like a full fractal of the whole universe, then why wouldn't you store the bones? Because you're holding, if it's all
Mhm.
about information,
Mhm.
you're holding something that lasts a very long time.
Well, it never ever breaks down.
And
Bones
then
never
yeah,
break down.
I think it makes a lot of sense that it's part of almost like a technology to trap within the realm.
Yeah.
If that's its purpose or not, I don't know. But yeah, like I didn't know bones took that long to break. I guess they find all, but then you were talking about where's all these
Bones.
no, like where's all these all
Yeah.
the wars and the crusades.
Vikings and
Yeah, like
the
where are all those bones?
yeah, where are the bones?
It reminded me. You would have been to Cambodia, wouldn't you, Kelly?
No, I have not
Oh,
been
you
to
haven't
Cambodia.
really. Everywhere you've been, you've never been to
I know,
Cambodia.
I've never been. I haven't done much of the Asian countries actually. Yeah, but they're
That was
there.
my go-to. Anyway, Cambodia. It's a cool place, but it's
Yeah, that's like the killing field, isn't it?
yeah. So I went there. I went there once, and that's kind of famous because they've got a big thing. Well, they have like grave pits everywhere, and it's just all human bones, right, where they would kill them. And these were specifically the ones because it's right near the prison. Excuse me. Anyway, first of all, in the prison, they got all these photos of all the people they kept in there, and all I can say is they must have been tortured so bad. I went around. I
Mm.
was really into the reptile thing back then,
Mm.
and I was reading. I read a book on the. I can't remember what it was called, but it was on this young girl that lived through the Cambodian genocide. It was just an unbelievable book. I read it when I was, when you read about a historical event and you're at the place, kind of has more meaning.
Yeah.
Mm.
I had all the pictures of the people, and I remember, and I think because I was so much into the reptilian stuff then, that the amount that had slit pupils, like it was probably 9 out of 10. And when someone just you can see the soul's just been taken out of their body. But then we went around and there was, they told all the stories of where they used to kill the babies and all this stuff, but they'd made like a sculpture to these skulls. They'd stuffed them all in. But it's like a weird thing. Like you can have the story of it, but they've still kept it as a display.
Yep. Yep. It
But
actually,
I
it's
can't
like,
remember how many were you saying, like, are in France in the catacombs and stuff. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, they measure it in kilometers or something, don't they?
Kilometers, yeah, it's the hundreds, right? 7 kilometers are open, but hundreds of kilometers of
So that's
just
like
bones.
millions of people, right?
and several layers.
Yeah, and they used to drink out of skulls and that because it's supposed to contain the wisdom of the person, and that's
Yeah.
why people collect skulls and Day of the Dead and Skull and Bones and all this kind of stuff. It's all
Well,
very
it made me think of the crystal skulls too.
yes,
Did you ever see that interview with that lady that found she got a hand on one of the I can't remember how there is. There's like six of them or
yeah, something like that, 5 or 6, I
she
think.
got one of them and she gave it a name and she said that it gave the name to her. But then like the whole like Rome, like the Capitol Hill in Rome was like all it was a dedication to like Saturn, but it was a skull as well too. Because like that's why they called it the Capitol, because the cap just means head, but it's the boned, like the skull. That's why they called it that.
Yep.
The
Yep.
same
Well,
as like, Capitol Hill in America. That's why they got a Capitol Hill everywhere.
mm-hmm.
But
Like
sorry, and at the Bendigo Capitol Theatre, next to it is the Bendigo Art Gallery, which is a very sus place, and it's got a huge skull
mm,
out the front of the Bendigo Art Gallery.
Yeah,
mm.
right. So all these hills, are they all like giant skulls or something that they're building on?
Yeah, I don't. It could be an indicator, maybe.
Mm.
They've used art so overtly in this culture. Art's just been hijacked to continue the agenda. It's just so fucking perverse. They can take human creativity the way that they have. It's really bad. But with the catacombs, that's like basically as we got into it really deep, and I've gone even deeper, they're everywhere, Dale. They underpin all the capital cities of the realm. And they're like hundreds of, if you can imagine the giant trees creating the root systems that went the whole continent, which became the tunnels, so much of those tunnels are now full of skulls and the leg bone all
Femurs,
arranged
yeah.
in patterns, in exact patterns, all for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of kilometers, like going across countries. The network's so big. Like we're literally underpinned by the Empire of the Dead, literally. And then there's also this massive phenomenon of all these mausoleums, basically cities of the dead that are above ground, all over Europe for sure, where you go in and they're like miniature Tartarian houses. And there's streets and cities and all designed as crypts. So if you start to research crypts and mummies and it is in the crypts of our world almost, I would say, supersede the population. And like that is so fucking weird, man. How is that the case and no one ever thinks about it? We've literally got more
In
bodies on this
people.
realm, skeletons than people. And they underpin all of our cities and they underpin not only cities, but above ground as well. And like any opportunity to contain and present bodies, dead bodies, they've taken it. And it just furthers our whole theory that, we are being governed by that came from the deeps, from the underworld. We are being governed by the dead. The invasion is the dead. And like, so the catacombs and the bones. And then we went into it in the second show, Dale, and like far out, man.
Well, you
There
talk
is
about crematoriums and stuff too. I found that interesting. Like, would you say most people get cremated now or buried?
Yeah,
yes.
no, it's 70% around about cremation.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be a financial reason, though, wouldn't it? Because it costs you so much for a tombstone and a grave pit these days.
They built it in. They built it into the process.
And there's
They
no
built
new graveyards, right?
It's by because I asked the question and researched this for days. What industry in the world would collapse if human bodies were taken out of the equation? As in the use of human bones, skin, organ, anything to do with the human body, 100% of the world's industries would collapse.
Yeah.
It is so integrated into this empire that we live in. It's in everything. Anything white, Dale, is a derivative of bone.
Yeah,
So in
that's what I
building,
heard.
Bone ash.
because it's what bone does is the piezo crystals in it actually take all color. They they consume color. It's why you get white. It's where white comes from. So it's not a color, it's the consumption of all color. So that's why our teeth are white, our bones are white. They've got this like property that actually removes color. So anything in that's white paint, white in the building industry, hello, all the things that are white in the building industry have bone ash in it, bone ash. And then everything in the cosmetic industry would
A lot
fail.
of things that are white.
Yep. Everything in the cosmetic industry will fail. Everything in the medical industry would fail. The building industry would fail. I mean, just every industry, paint. So
Well, do you know, it appears like there's a fucking supply chain for everything that is not coming from where we're seeing, yeah, including animals. Obviously, people have covered this a million times. How McDonald's, they don't own a fucking farm. They can't produce enough cows just for McDonald's, not to
Hmm.
mention everything else. So, like, and I'm not even
Yeah.
saying it's not even
What do you
cows. Like,
think?
I
Is it
don't
all
know,
underground? Is there like massive,
but it's got to be a mass supply of stuff
mm,
coming from everywhere.
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of, we hear about the tunnels under there, but I think they've got train systems down there, like pneumatics and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
did you see that one they found in New York? Like this whole train system and everything. They're like, oh, we forgot about that. Here's the story about it,
Yeah.
You know.
Well, do you know, what was I going to say? Fuck, I had it. It's been happening to me a lot lately, Kelly.
it's the coffee and the terrible
Oh,
cigarettes
yeah.
you
This is what
consume,
I was going to
Dale.
say. I was thinking about this the other day because this was a headline. I'm like, oh, this might interest you. So China got like caught out by the US, and they had submarines out in the South Pacific, and apparently they were going out there to sabotage the
The cables.
underground, the cables, right? This
Mm.
is this is how they were talking about, because they were saying that
Yep.
there could be state terrorism by China in basically wiping the grid out, and they weren't talking about like taking out power plants and oil plants and shit. They were talking about their
Communication cables.
taking out these fucking cables.
hmm And you know why? Because like it's leading to complete ocean surveillance. I was just saying we did a podcast this morning, and most people in Australia don't know this, what's going on with our oceans. But Australia actually owns the largest, as if you can say owned, but
Yeah.
literally it's decided that it is in charge of the largest percent of ocean in the world. There's just been a new global treaty signed, which Australia's championed and is the administrator for, which basically brings, it's a United Nations thing, which basically for the first time ever puts law over the ocean. And at the same time, systematically, they have been removing all the shark. So every country in the world has shark nets, right? We had these old school shark nets, right? They have systematically removed the shark nets here in Australia, definitely, but almost every country. And they've replaced it with underwater drones, underwater drone surveillance. So hang on, just let me get rid of this.
Actually, I think that was mentioned in the Chinese story. That's how they said they were going to take out the cables with underwater
Yep.
drones.
Yes. So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
investing, they're literally investing artificial intelligence and drones to start seriously surveilling the ocean line, so our beach line where humans would be and swim, and where fishermen would be past that, to surveil them so that every single human that gets in the water worldwide is tagged. So then you've got to ask yourself, and this has already been happening in Bondi and Coogee and Sydney, right? This has been going on for 2 years. They've had drone surveillance instead of nets for the last 2 years, which means everyone at the beach is being surveilled and everyone in the water is being surveilled. So you've got to ask the question, like, what are they getting ready for here? Are they anticipating something coming up from the oceans, or are they anticipating something going in? Like, what are they actually attempting to do? So for the first time ever, legally, the oceans have government associated with them. And the only three countries that haven't joined this treaty are America, Russia, and India. And of course, they're pushing all the mining and all that shit. But like, if you go through like where we're at with our ocean series, like they're literally setting up and they're putting in billions of dollars, by the way. Billions of dollars are going into aquatic surveillance of our beaches via drone and underwater drones. Like they are getting serious about the oceans as if they're,
What's the official reason why they're doing that? What have they said?
For our safety, mate, of course.
read it, I'll bring it up.
Always gamble.
Always for our safety.
For our safety. Well, yeah, that's always the way. That's always what they say, isn't it? That it's for our
Gamble,
safety.
you should be a head propagandist.
A head propagandist. Come on, people, get in there. It's for your safety.
All right, let me find it. Yeah, but I mean, essentially, it's setting up an aquatic control grid, right? And like, well, I find this an aquatic control grid is preparing for something. Like it's been unsurveilled for so long and it's been out of the radar of human attention for so long, and all the UFOs coming in and out of it for so long.
Yeah.
And, this whole kind of consciousness I mean, from my perspective, we are being governed by the underworld. That the beings that we would call them, the agenda, are not human. Then we would call them vampires. That they seem to be immortal. They seem to be cold-blooded. Well, they're definitely cold-blooded. They seem to lack empathy and compassion. That's where we get all the notions of the aliens. And yeah, I would say that their origin is in the non-living, the
Well,
dead.
it's interesting with all this disclosure talk going on, and obviously they're talking about, space aliens, but what if like, they're just sort of subverting the story, right? And they're worried about something coming but out of the ocean because, they're not putting any defensive stuff up in space, right? It's just like the aliens are here. They're from the future. Oh my God.
Are you going to watch the Spielberg movie?
I think I'm going to have to at some point. What's
I
it
don't even
on?
know
Is it
about
on?
this movie. What is this movie?
Disclosure Day, it's called, right? And that's another one, right? Like, what a coincidence. As Disclosure's coming out, there just happens to be a movie already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Perfect for Spielberg too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be about alien disclosure, basically, isn't it? UFOs. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So globally, this new treaty puts 2/3 of the planet's oceans, well, basically all the oceans, 2/3 of the planet, wrong word there. There you go, realm, under new governance framework. So under a new framework. So it's never been governed before. It's really weird because, you remember a couple of months ago, I think we even talked about this, the metal balls that they're mining from the bottom of the ocean. Do you remember that?
Yes, that's a weird one.
It's a weird one, right? It's a weird one. Do you know this, Dale? You know this?
Yeah. Heard you talk about it.
So yeah, so they're basically all like it's all coming up to sort of like basically legally support ocean mining, basically. And they've never been able to do it officially and formally because there's been no governments there. It's like whatever belongs in the ocean is meant to be for all of humanity. That's why people should be allowed to fish and be in the waters. It's freehold. That's where we get the notion of pirates from, that we can travel freely across the ocean. But this new treaty that's been signed, it's been signed, it's done, it's happening. Changes that completely. So where fishermen used to be able to fish freely in the waters, that's now becoming marine parks. So fishermen are going to lose their industry. They already have actually in a lot of ways around Australia. People don't even know. We don't have our attention on the ocean at all. We don't even know what's happening. But yeah, for fishermen, they're losing
So,
the
and
rights
you
to
said
fish.
America, Russia, and India. Did you
India,
say?
India.
Well, they're three big countries with three big fucking coastlines too.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, I haven't found it. It's in my notes. But yeah, that's just a side note. So yeah, the oceans are definitely being set up now, definitely, which is perfectly in alignment with everything that we've been saying, really, because, the whole world's governed by, maritime law, like we're governed by the law of the oceans, and yet the oceans haven't had a law themselves, but now they do. And now the nations have taken claim to the
Well,
ocean.
yeah, that's the whole thing of like maritime law. That like the commerce and merchants and stuff. It comes from the water. It's never come from land, has it?
So what are they doing? Do you think
Mm.
that mining is a dumb thing? I don't believe that for
Well,
a
it's a good
second.
cover story, though, isn't it, for stuff going
Mhm.
on and loud, you know, vibrations or whatever.
Yep.
I
But
think it's all prepping because like just looking at the patterns of what's been released through establishment media in the last or pretty much since COVID was when they really started amping up the UFO agenda. And I always reckon when there's a twist in the agenda, they change the name. And it was 2020 when they started calling them UAPs. They were
yeah.
UFOs forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, why did you change the name? There was no need, right? But they did. And that was when you started hearing the UFOs coming from the water.
Yep.
And there
Yep.
was one today. It was either a bishop or a cardinal at the Vatican. Did you see this one?
No, no, I haven't.
So he started talking about UFOs too, and he said yes, he was saying like this is what they keep saying, they're demons,
The
they're
demons.
aliens, they want it, that it's part of this war. I think it's a lot of that, and I think who's holding the cards is the Catholic Church. So that's why I thought it was interesting that it came
The
from
fish
him.
god's coming back, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
you
know,
know,
that is the fucking fish god,
And I
isn't it?
mean, it could also be, obviously Agenda 2030 is what they're, pushing. And so it could be, border control as well, just as a boring side note, just to stop us traveling, right?
Yeah.
Which could be connected to the data centers, that they're obviously trying to set up a control grid and a surveillance grid.
I
But
mean, it's pretty devastating.
didn't the data centers come into the consciousness real quick?
Oh, very, very
Like,
quickly, right?
all of a sudden, they're building one here. They're built like no one's really even heard of it. I mean, I hadn't really until
No.
a couple of
I
months
don't
ago.
believe it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
something
I don't know that
nowhere.
I
And it's
believe it.
everywhere. I don't know what's happening. Have
I
you
think it's all
have you
talk.
seen the locations they're doing them in Melbourne?
I
No. I've seen that there was some big thing out near Ararat or Ballarat, like a big
Yeah,
electrical installation getting ready for them. I mean, it could just be a land grab, right? Just because they're buying so much land up. Could you, but yeah, I highly doubt that they're for holding data chips, right? Because we're running AI right now. The world jumped on and it's just gone through the roof in the last 2 years. And it's run without all these data centers, but now they suddenly need for what is it, 4,500 in the next 4 years in the USA.
yeah.
It's
I found that this headline: Cardinal McElroy removes priest from exorcism ministry over UFO demon comments on social media. That's what
You're
it was.
right. Well, in America they called all these pastors in and high sort of pastor type dudes, yeah, like apparently inform them all that they need to talk to their congregations because there's aliens coming and it's going to be, you know, all this stuff to deal with. But I'm pretty sure there too, they've said that they're demons. And even with the war, the Iran war, they've been telling the soldiers that it's a holy war now, and it's and you know, Trump's a thing, and you know, he's like the reincarnation of Jesus, and then we've got the whole blue beam, and everyone's like, are they going? Is it going to be Jesus that's coming back, or the fallen angels, or someone else from the Bible? But I mean, they've been pushing this since World War II, the UFO agenda, right? So like
It's
I
a
don't believe
loop,
in space
man.
aliens.
It's a loop.
I
I'm
think, yeah.
The thing that disturbs me about the underwater drone scenario that they're putting around every continent and every country is that they could easily be programmed to shoot every dolphin and whale that ever comes near them. There could be a war against the ancestors, the mammals, you know, there could be a war against that. And they've already been doing that, but like it gives them so much control to kill anything, you know? And if all of this is coming from the oceans and the invasion came from the oceans and religions came from the electric, all of it leads back to the oceans, then I have a feeling this grid that they're putting around the continents right now is a defense mechanism. Because
Mm,
you know when you talk because I religions to me are part of the aquatic takeover and I should be more clear than that. They're part of the invasive takeover which does not represent the aquatic realm by far. And I think that the aquatic realm itself exists in full force. And I think that they themselves are at war with this invasion. So I mean, I'm just like, watching to think, well, could the aquatic beings be, ready to return or ready to defend or ready to bridge the gap again? Like, when you hear all the fucking boring Christian stories about Satan's season and they're running, you always hear they're running out of time, they're running out of time, they're running, that like loop, they're running out of time, they're running out of time. Well, maybe there's something else going on. And if anything else is going on, if there's anything else going on, any concept of any change in all this, it is going to come from the oceans.
mm.
It's
Yeah, well, I
coming from
mean,
the oceans.
it's massive, right? It's, you know, two-thirds of the realm, and it's so deep. Like, and there's so much footage of USOs, you know, coming out of the water and going around underwater, and stories of domes down there as well under the water. So we just don't know what's down there, right? I mean, we get Aquaman and we get all these, you know, stories, King Neptune, you know, and they just, and all they need to have, because we've got the mermaids and stuff everywhere, right? All these stories from antiquity, they just haven't really been around for the last 100 years, right? So it's not like it's just been taken out of our consciousness, right? That they, you know, there could definitely be a huge civilization down there, and there probably is.
Fuck yeah. Anyway, off the ocean topic, 'cause we're going to talk about that all together live
Yes,
next
come see us live,
weekend.
Katoomba.
Yeah. If you want to know the full story, come to the live event. There's a lot more to say
Bring
about
your
this.
beanie.
So tell me something else. What else have we got on YouTube?
What have
Like
you been into? Are you still
I
working? Are
personally,
you still scaffolding?
Oh, I'm doing that, and I'm doing gas installations. I'm so pissed off this week. Do you know what I found out? My fucking so I got my email account got hacked, right? About I don't know, about 5 months ago. So I've lost all my email contacts and that, and everything that goes to there. Then I find out I get a letter in the mail. I've got like thousands of dollars worth of fines, and they're like, you've been driving an unregistered car. And I'm like, well, if you can send me a fine in the mail, can't you send me one saying, hey, your car's unregistered? But yeah, apparently it's not registered. It was going to my old email. So then I had to get like, and I'm like, I just got insurance 3 weeks ago, and they looked up me. Do you know what I mean? So
mm,
I've been fighting that. And then, in New South Wales, you got to register your car.
hmm
You have to fucking go get all these
hmm
fucking things, and then they're like, "Oh, you got a dent in your windscreen. You need a new
hmm
windscreen, and then you
hmm
need a new."
Yeah, roadworthies. I know,
Oh my
right?
god, I was
Yeah.
shitting. And then I went in, and then I finally done all that. I'm like, it's cost me a fortune. Then I go to register it, $100 registration, $1,400 stamp duty, plus
What?
$400 car
No.
tax.
What
I
is
know.
I
stamp
was looking at it, I
duty?
was looking at it,
Like,
I'm like,
what does that even mean? Was there supposed to be a duty on sending something? Because they're not
stamp
sending
duty,
anything
it's
anymore.
officially just to say that this is official. This is
That's
official.
so they can give it the rubber.
I was like, I was going to punch someone. So
Man,
That's the
Australia is
plan,
so
isn't it?
expensive.
That's the plan. Drive us crazy with their middle management. That's their plan.
that is the plan. So
Stop.
anyway, I was thinking of what I was going to talk about on the day. I actually wanted to go into nicotine, what I was talking about at the start, and like the
Favorite
specific,
topic.
like, and I haven't got a conclusion on it, but like I just think there's something there, so I'm going to keep digging. But now, isn't Nikki's going to be on there with me? So we're
Yep.
gonna like shift it
It's
all up.
coming up.
So I think
Yep.
so. I think we're going to talk into basically everything that we've been doing around the Shrine series in the last few years with Nikki, which kind of like a lot of Nikki's series go into what you've been talking about anyway. So I think that's a better avenue for the
Cool.
Hmm. Yeah, we were supposed
Cool.
to have a chat with her, maybe like last year or something. It never happened.
yeah.
But
So we like when she came on the other day, she was like, Nikki's really big on taxes, and that's actually what when we started looking at the shrine was the first thing that like came to being was like these taxes and that no one wanted to pay for this thing. It was in the depression, and that income tax got brought in World War I. But then she started going to like this whole Ansett thing, and there were like two different pilots that were basically had worked out they didn't have to pay income tax, and they won the case, and you can't find it anymore. And then straight after it, Ansett Australia went under. On what day? 9/11, 2001 is when is the it was like they
oh,
shifted everything.
in 2001 as well.
Yeah, so
Yeah, right.
it wasn't just the missing trillion from the Pentagon or the Department of Defense or whatever it was. So it was. I mean, there's probably a lot of things that happened on that day.
That's what I'm thinking. I wonder what else went down that we just didn't ever notice because everyone was focused on the towers, right?
Yeah, and then I found it interesting too because I didn't know this because I'm like, oh, who owned Ansett Australia? It was owned by
Bob
New Zealand.
Ansett, wasn't it?
Sorry.
Bob Ansett, didn't he originally?
Yeah, no, but then it had multiple successors after that. So the final owner, oh, I have to look his name up again. Anyway, we looked him up. Then I went to
Was
his
his name Bin
wiki page,
Laden?
and he's like, he got done for having child abuse material on his computer like 3 years ago. But anyway, then it got bought up from the by the New Zealand government after that. So it's actually a state.
Oh,
New Zealand Airlines is actually a state owned airline.
and that owns Ansett.
No, no, so no, the New Zealand before it was a state owned. So after all this happened, Ansett went down, and then New Zealand took over and took over New Zealand Airways. But I would think New Zealand Airways would be pretty important too, just by its location, proximity to like Antarctica and stuff like that. We know like Obama went there the other year. Now like what is his name, Peter Thiel, he's just bought at this big place in Argentina. So it seems like and like this that was like my theory for a long time that there's actually like that flip energy actually change is in everything. So you'll experience it in everything. That's why I found like when Kelly said like there's this reversal. I think like a lot of coming back to being is actually reversing everything, and I think that that's actually going to manifest in the planet.
Oh, it's so interesting. It's so interesting because I'm down on the truth community at the moment. Like I'm down.
Yeah.
My energy for it is done. It's off. It's off. It's off. And I'm part, I'm not like I'm just not dissing anyone but myself, but because I've realized that the entire truth community is subject to the harshest predictive programming in the world. Like there is nothing that's come out of the truth community that has not been an aspect of predictive programming. And it leads us to this sense of, essentially, hopelessness, like this sense that, where's all, we have no power, the enemy's so formidable and huge.
Well,
It's
it's like a certainty. It's a belief in a certainty of something.
Yep, yep, yep. And every aspect of it just adds to the next loop. So it's like this perpetual, ongoing, looping, predictive programming. So if I apply like the Mandela effect to that, I would say that's representation of predictive programming. Because when I say our thoughts and consciousness create reality, what do you two take from that? What do you think that means? What do you think it means?
I think basically it means like attracts like as far as frequency. So, thoughts and emotions are frequency, and so you attract the same to you. So, so I think it works more in concepts like for abundance rather than, a Mercedes sports. That's okay. I think it's, I think we just attract what we focus on and what we are.
All right. What about you, Dale?
Well,
What do you think is responsible for creating reality?
We are.
well, we're a part of it.
But talk more into that. Both of you, just talk more into that.
So, well, I believe in like there's a fixed, and then there's like the eternal, but it comes from the individual. So everyone's got that, or some people have got it to like differing degrees. So the collective is what is fixed. Do you know what I mean? And that's like they're the programs that are going to play out. And they're the things that you'll see that are scripted and blue. What we've like what Jason points out with his chronology and stuff like that, that actually, like, I think it shows that there's something that is collective that is fixed, but then there's something else that is missing. Like that's what people call, the divine spark or whatever it is. And that's what I don't believe in an inevitability of anything. Even if you look at past like time cycles and stuff, you like see this happen before, see it's happened before, it's repeating, and it's like this self-perpetuating loop. But it's like that moment of intuition. But I think manifestation is completely based on belief, and it's not even just like thoughts and actions coming into being. Whether you have that full 100% belief, and you see it so much in sports people that were told. Like there was one from Jason Gillespie. He was this Australian cricketer, and he was just shit when he was like an average player. And he said at one of his first training sessions, he's like, I'm gonna play cricket for Australia. And he said they laughed at him, and that inspired him more. But it was true belief.
Yeah.
Nothing can ever take that away from you if you have like this. So I don't believe in an inevitability.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And
Definitely.
I think that's actually the samsara loop, is like that you're caught in this inevitability. And what you see in the programming, like even seeing all this stuff now with like these knife attacks and stuff like that, and you go, okay, this is attached to the seal, and then this one's going to follow next, and it actually drives inaction because you're seeing a blueprint and you're like, okay, but where do I express myself individually with this? So I think you're always in it and away from it at all times. And I don't think it's a rejection of one. It's almost like that's why the hero's journey is the master of two worlds. So you have to acknowledge both to operate. Do you know what I mean? But I actually think I think key to the cycle of this realm is when they introduce the Messiah. I think that tells me that's like the end of the cycle. I think it's been done over and over again, and how you interact or believe or even like submit or give your power over to this individual, if that actually manifests in that way, whatever it might be, because all the religions, they're all attached to a Messiah, pretty much, even the Eastern
All
ones.
of them.
Mm.
So why is that so crucial? And I think it's what I was saying before, that there's the collective and then the individual process of what you're going through, and the collective program is the Messiah. So it's that last pull of energy from the individual to give it over to something that is part of the collective. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I think that's the biggest program, and maybe it does need to happen. So, and you could just see just at the current state of consciousness of most people and where they are with religious dogma of all different types of religion, you can just see how it would trap 99.9% of people. It's like the last glitch in the program, do you know what I mean? Before it resets itself. I've just been thinking about that the last couple of minutes. So yeah, I'm not sure if I even answered the
Yeah, well, it's interesting
question.
this idea of a fixed reality, like it being fixed. Because reality, does it exist outside of our consciousness? Does it exist in the way that it can be fixed like that? One of the very first things I ever did when I was training my intuition, I did this course, and on day one, this is what we had to do, right? We were given a raw potato, like a hard, raw potato with the skin on, raw potato, and a plastic McDonald's straw. And our job was to basically get the straw through the potato. And so we all had to do this exercise, right? When you put a McDonald's straw to a
Possible?
raw potato, it crushes the straw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then like when you like focus in, harness your focus and then see the straw at the other end of the potato and do it again, it goes through like fucking butter.
Did you do this?
Yes. So you couldn't leave that evening until you had got the straw through the potato.
Oh my God. I would have been there all day, Campbell.
No, you wouldn't have.
I
It's
know,
quite amazing. But like that was 25 years ago I did that course. And, I've always held this idea of how bendable reality is. And when I look at, this consciousness that we've accumulated here in the sort of, this truth movement reality, would you say that it slows you down, your vibration, or it speeds you up?
Parts of it,
whoa,
parts of
whoa.
it, yes, speeds, but I would say that would be the minority of what is out there.
Mm.
Majority, yeah, I would say, yeah, the opposite.
It is designed to slow you down. It is a slow beat. It's designed to slow you down because nothing about it feels good. Even when you feel like you're uncovering something, it still doesn't feel good. Because then you're just uncovering a lie and to another lie and to another lie, and it feels disempowering. There's no information that comes out of it that feels powerful because every time you reveal something, a bigger necromancer's on the horizon. Every time you find a little bit of something, a bigger boogeyman is there to present itself. You're never in a position where you can ever get on top of it or effectively do anything about it. So it lowers your resonance, it lowers your frequency band. And in order for us to experience an entirely different reality, which is what everyone's wanting but doesn't know how to get to, we would need to speed up our resonance. Right? We need to speed it up. And it's designed to keep us slow, not speedy. It's designed that way. So everything that's been released, and every time anyone makes a reveal or a discovery, which can for a momentarily feel exciting, it will always be like layered on top of another 10 layers of boogeymen that are shit and that don't make you feel good at all. Even though Tartaria was like really magical and exciting, and we really did go into the dream of that, and it's been really fun. Campbell and I have kept it very fun there. But like it's still like this, once you realize you understand the power that they have to, eradicate or, misrepresent massive, massive bodies of work and how dumb we've been not to see it up until that moment. So
Hmm.
like the whole resonance of the realm of asking and keeping our eyes onto external variables is actually slowing our frequency down by design. So
I,
this is
I think it's your relationship with information though too. So it's the intention behind it, right, as well.
well,
And
let's talk into it. Tell me more, like tell me where in your experience your reality has increased frequency as a result. Like where in either of your experiences,
well,
any part
okay,
of your life.
well, for the most part, it probably hasn't come from research. It's more so like you take in or you discover stuff about yourself or the world either from information taken in or from experiences, right? So like I would say for the most, it's probably most people. It's experience, whether it's like somewhere like where you've been out somewhere new in nature, sitting around a campfire or something, or going through an experience with a group of people. I think is a big one. Like like a small group,
Connection. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
some sort of
Mhm.
connection, or even like a traumatic life experience, like the loss of a loved one, which that one makes you start to like question things and like what matters. And then the other one for me, like for information taken in, besides like all the stuff that we're into, is I find great truth from other people's stories as well. Either listening to them, but like particularly reading like an autobiography. But Tartary was one of those ones when I first come across it that there was an excitement element.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But
Agreed.
Yeah.
and I think like what I said before about, if you're off camping or you're going on like a 3-day hike with some, but like some shared experience with other people and usually some connection to nature, it's more of a, it's more like a subtle and longer lasting. When you develop a connection with someone, even over a couple of days, but it's real long. You can feel there was like a real bond. There's something to that, and even like what you gain from nature in that experience as well too. Whereas like I feel like a lot of the information, like even when I said about Tartaria, not that it was wrong, but there was like a quick, almost like a drug like excitement element. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? You feel
sure.
like something's cracked open and new information's come in. So I don't know. That's not really an answer, but
No,
I mean,
no, no.
Tartaru, yeah, it doesn't, it doesn't have as many dark sort of rabbit holes, but I guess with everything, it catches you up, right? And you spend your time sort of looking in down these rabbit holes, whatever, and it's not really fixing anything. But, with most of these, conspiracy type things, they end up getting dark, right? And people get trapped down there and they think the world sucks. And I would say it probably got more adverse effects than good ones, especially, when you're in it for years, and then the other thing is, what can we change? You sort of get there and then it's sort of like, well, fuck, it's too big. I can't change this. What do we do? So it puts you in that helplessness stuff. A lot of it leads you to, it's all fake anyway. So who cares? I just want to get out of this reality and back to prime earth or whatever. So there's definitely a lot because, we know that they always rule both sides of the argument, right? So they would have known that there would have been, us rising up asking questions, and so they just give us rabbit holes to go down, right?
I think they can lead you to, like if you get like an unbalanced level into
Mm.
something, you either end up in escapism
Yeah,
or you go completely material. Do you know what I mean? You're like, I've fucking done all that. So
yeah.
But
Well, it depends what
but this is where
conclusion.
do you know what I think it is, Kelly? Because you always talk about the edge. That's what I think. I think a lot of people get to an edge and they're like, I'm fucking done, or they stay looping on that edge. Like they're, whether it's like entertaining that excitement of the first seeing, or hoping that there's going to be something else there. Whereas, like, I don't know, I feel like
It's
you guys,
addictive.
you're kind of like, oh, we've done that, we've brushed that aside. There's got, and I think that by doing that, that actually opens up, because I think your intention is like you want to get to the truth, both of you guys, right? And by even saying that's an edge, we're done there, it's opened up a whole, like, who knows what's going to be next. So, but I don't know. I think you two are rare units in
Mm.
that sense, because you know when you see like a researcher and like, I mean, say like someone like Alex Jones, not that he, or like even Jordan Maxwell is like a good example. Whereas like on his deathbed, 50 years, he's still talking about the same thing. And you can see the energy burden that it had on him. Whereas,
Yeah, but I mean, poor old Jordan also died alone, old and broke, didn't he?
yeah, and bitter.
And bitter. Yeah, he was getting quite bitter towards the end because he was in it for his whole life, right? And
Yeah.
going down
But I
dark
think
sort of
the
stuff.
bitterness came from he was stuck in that loop of like he never progressed past what he believed to be. Do you know what I mean? There was
Well, it's
never,
victim tyrant, isn't it? In the end, like there's a baddie out there, and you just can't defeat it.
yeah. And
And
that really was in his mind. Sorry, Kelly. That really was in his mindset too, Kelly Campbell. He used to say that all the time too. He's like, if you knew what I knew, but like with a
Yeah.
real negative slant. And do you know what I mean? So
Mm. Prison Planet, man.
I
yeah,
mean, it's done a really fantastic job of of hijacking the minds of the most intelligent people in the realm. It's done a really terrific job at that because vibrationally, it's just like if we believe that our thoughts create reality and that we're bringing reality about as we're thinking these things, then we, the truth community, are single-handedly responsible for all of this, for
Well,
all of
yeah.
this, because once we started to focus on it, and I'm not saying that it didn't exist outside of that, but what it's done is it's hijacked the best minds of the humankind and put all their attention on trying to unravel and reveal this like never-ending Rubik's Cube that will never end because it will fill in immediately as soon as you've like seen something. All this other stuff will fill in. We saw it firsthand when we started doing Tartaria, which was really new and fresh at the time. Like there was nothing. We couldn't find photos. Like there was no context. And then suddenly, within weeks and months, the internet flooded with all these photographs and maps as if they've always been there. You know, as soon as something's revealed, it is filled in to like more and more and more and more. It is like an endless wall of mirrors.
And is that
Yes.
because we're creating it with what we're thinking?
Well, we're certainly maintaining it and bringing it forward. But that's side note because we can choose to do that because we're fantastic creators and we have very addictive personalities. So we can choose to do that. But the thing is, upon doing it and thinking that what you're doing is advancing your consciousness by knowing this is basically stopping you from advancing your consciousness because you're not putting your consciousness back onto thyself. Your consciousness is fully immersed and engaged in the next reveal, the next wall of mirror, the next wall of mirror, the next wall of mirror. And so we're in this constant, like the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And it's all very addictive, you know, because that's by its nature, it's predictive programming. You know, like David Icke releases the reptilian agenda and the matrix model, Dale, like straight up when we started reading it all those years ago. And then that just became the truth community, you know? And so that was the next wall of mirrors into it, onto it, onto it, onto it, onto it. It's so easy because repetition is how our psychology works. It's so easy. All we have to do is repeat it. And now, you know, 20 years on from David Icke's novels, which everyone read, you know, everyone read and thought, oh my God, we're in the middle of revealing the truth. Like we are special people getting all of this. And now we've got social media, which is like, what an idea. And the whole truth community rears up and says, that's false flag, or that was, you know, that's like a false agenda, blah, blah. But then it just gets repeated, the wall of mirror. And so you only have to see something for a few hours on repeat. You only have to see it for a few days and it's integrated. You don't even know it's integrated and it's fucking integrated. And so then it becomes part of the story. So this is like never ending, never fucking ending, you know? And I
Yeah.
said this on the, yep, go
So I
on,
was going
Cam.
to say, have you seen Planet Mind Control, Dale?
No.
It's this movie. It's at actually planetmindcontrol.com. It's free. But they show this thing. They had some celebrity, I forgot who it was, but they showed this video. You know, this guy made this little video, and at the end, basically was programming this celebrity to choose the number 4 and to like say certain things. And they showed you how he did it. And I think he had like 4 or 5 pictures of a sun in the background, and that was enough to like get this celebrity. And then he was using words with 4 in it, like beforehand, and you know, and he only about 5, and he literally got him to do what he wanted in 10 minutes, man. It was crazy.
Isn't that, and that's not even technology or
It's
anything.
not,
That's
it's just sleight of hand stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so the world's divided, right? You've got the people who like just don't go there because, you know, they're wanting to focus on being their own successful human beings, not entering this conversation. And then you've all the people that go there and enter the conversation. And at the end of the day, everyone's left feeling hollow. Everyone's left feeling empty. It doesn't matter which path you take because now we live in this predictive programming wall of mirrors, right? And so we're all missing the fucking point of how to get out of it. Really. And so
But don't you reckon even this is like intentional and part of the exploration too? Because because now even the fact that you're talking about it means it's so blatantly obvious to see, right? So it's served its purpose even in that sense to say that, okay, this is not the answer. And obviously there is a point of exploration that's important to find out information. But I guess for people like us, we've done this a long time ago. And the show of looking at where it is in 2026 seems a bit fucking ridiculous, especially those that are newly kind of caught in the net. But do you know what I mean? I do see that it has its purpose, even now to the point that you're going like this looks ridiculous looking from the inside out, and that's something that I've been a part of. Do you know what I mean? Before, like prior, but I don't know. There's levels to this game. Do you know what I mean? There's levels to this,
There's levels. I mean, but
and
you still can
it all
imagine.
comes to like self-questioning, doesn't it? Like it really all does come back to yourself
Yes.
and your own environment and what you're doing. And I agree, like the topic of what you're saying now about creating your own reality. I toy with this all the time because no, how many people go like I feel like I understand what I am like in an eternal level, but then yeah, I can manifest anything or be anything I want, but then there's an immediate no there. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not, and I get it, but there's glimpses of it. And do you know what I think it is too? Like for me, I a lot, and it might be the same for you. Is like I don't know what I want.
Mhm.
Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, not that I can say I want the truth or I want this, but I think you need. I think manifestation requires specifics. I want this.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
you have to want it enough to get excited about it, right? So it has to be pretty specific. It can't just be I want money or I
Yeah.
want whatever, right? Freedom, because you've got to engage into it, I guess. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't think most of us probably really know what we want because we've been chasing other people's stories, right? And you know that there's nothing at the end of that rainbow really, apart from hopefully a bit of self learning. But yeah, but this is the thing, and everything that we do get basically put up to us as what should be our goals to be successful, it's all from the system, right? More money, bigger house, better car, hotter partner, whatever it is. So I think yeah, just across the board, most people don't really know what they want. And so
I
that's
know.
another problem is all this stuff is a good distraction from that, right?
Yeah.
I know exactly what I want.
Yeah. I think
Exactly.
what is it?
I want to be a master teacher and an extraordinary thinker.
You
I know
kind of
exactly what I want. I
what
want
is
to,
it? What is it? What does that look like? Like, can you actually picture exactly what that is? Because you're kind of already that anyway.
yeah. No, no. I mean, I know exactly what I want. I want to, how should we say it? Generate a new frequency band. I want to generate a new frequency band, and I want to do that by being an extraordinary thinker and a master teacher. Because what I've realized about all of this, what I'm getting to about all of this, if we truly understand all of this, because the context of being your thoughts, your thoughts create reality, the context of that has been made abstract and lofty. It was a real buzzword like 10 years ago with what the bleep do we know, and the law of attraction came out, all that stuff. But it's been totally like we've all gone, yes, tick, tick, tick. We totally agree with that. However, there's something very exciting happening over here that we have to understand in order for us to understand what reality even is. So we get caught up on trying to externally understand what reality is and don't put our attention on who's creating the reality. And that's been the whole hijack. That's been the whole control. The whole control grid rests on that notion. The entire necromancer rests on that notion. So, from that perspective, if we fully, truly got it, the most radical position you could put yourself in is to know that everything's perfect. That would be the most radical mindset across the truth community. Because our egoic minds, will tell you 100% that absolutely, motherfucker, there is no way you can tell me that everything's perfect. Like, we are so convinced that this world is so far from perfect. We are so convinced that this world is so fucked up, that it's so screwed up, perverted, imperted, like it's so full of the worst horrors that you could ever imagine, and we have zero power to change it. We're so convinced of that. We could not even imagine that this world as it is perfect. And that is the end result of the predictive programming that we have been born into. And every good, conscious, intelligent creator mind that has fallen into the genre of seeking the truth has not been living by this concept. You've been seeking the answers in trying to understand the end result of programming from a whole bag of consciousness that's completely horrified and traumatized right now. But
Yeah.
if we truly understood, Dale, we would truly start to get our heads in the right mindset that everything is perfect. How unexciting is that? How unaddictive is that? Doesn't it just loses all its romanticism, doesn't it?
It's true because do you know why I don't know if even this is built into our psyche and our physiology is the destination. And in all storytelling, right, too, there is the end goal.
Exactly.
Because when you hear like, especially in the new age, they talk about like, like 5D or the new electronic.
Yep.
There's all and like in the Q stuff, it's always about, like when we take them down and they're like we
Yep.
restore or all these types of things, but it's all based on a certainty of an end game.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And actually, so with the hero's journey at the end, the final stage is the freedom to live.
Yep.
So it's not a perfection. It's to just
letting go more
yeah.
than gathering. Yeah.
Not much of a reward, is it?
No, and the other part,
get to live in this crappy world.
You're actually like, when people say perfection, what do they mean? I think they mean stability. If people saw like this perfect earth, they say stability. But I don't. By the very nature of this reality, there's never going to be stable because it's based on light and movement. So nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Constant is change, right?
Periods of what is perceived as stability, maybe for 1,000 years, but it's not. That's temporary. Do you know what I mean? So if that's what, so if perfection is the end game, there is no end game in a continuous.
A continuous cycle.
Well,
the end is the beginning.
Even within the cycles, they're saying like we enter this peace and prosperity period, and that might be perceived as perfection or the end game. But then, do you know the other, like if evil doesn't exist, where's the friction?
I mean, that's another story though, right? That we need this duality and we need bad things to know what's good. But I mean, do we really? I mean, I'm sure that everyone would have fun just creating stuff, right? And imagining things. I mean, I think that's another program myself. This whole it has to be here for us to grow. I mean, that's a good story, right? It's kind of like the Jesus, always just turn the other cheek, right? Like it doesn't matter that everything's shit. It's just supposed to be that way. So
But don't you think, Campbell, that like in fact it is like there is evil here. Like we can all. So just by the nature that it is here, although I agree, it doesn't need to be, Joe. But then yes, it's like a paradox because it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean,
at least within whatever, even if we're in this distortion of what is the greater. You know what I mean?
But by knowing that and naming that, we empower that. That, unfortunately, is how our minds work. By knowing it and researching it and naming it, we empower it. It doesn't, the empowerment of its reality and its truth in this frequency band is solely down to us. So we are empowering it by focusing on it constantly.
Isn't that what happens with Voldemort, Campbell? That like because he's not spoken of, he doesn't exist, and it's like we don't speak of, and then they give him more power.
This is the thing. Like we've all said, what is it? Where attention goes, energy flows. So just us researching the bad is putting our attention into it, and we're making it bigger, which is the whole conundrum with the whole truth seeking. Right? Is we spend most of our time focusing on what we don't want rather than what we do want. And if we're creators and we create that, then we're literally creating the problem that we've got.
We're addicted. We're addicted to knowing the enemy. We're addicted to naming the evil. We're addicted to, we have been programmed to form a relationship with the evil. We've had to name it. We've researched it. We've named it again and again and again. Like we're addicted to that because I tell you what, if I said to you guys, like, just like accept that the world is perfect. And I did this idea. So I was at Prana Fest the other day, and Zach Bush, who was like, I know from regenerative agriculture, he was talking about all sorts of things. And he was talking about the idea with Bruce Lipton, right? But applying it to us and the truth community, past what he was referring to, I was like, I just chewed on it all weekend because I realized that the programming is to basically control what we are perceiving by what we're focusing on, by what we're naming, by what we're putting into language, all of those things. Now, if I tell you guys to sit there for a couple of hours in meditation and know the world is perfect, like you would be very irritated by that. You'd be irritated. You'd be fucking irritated because your mind will be saying, it's not fucking perfect. Everything's fucking shit, actually. I've spent my life understanding it's not perfect. There's no way you're going to convince me it's perfect.
Fucking
There's no
stamp
way.
duty tax. That was not perfect.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
that's right. There are so many examples that we can collect in our everyday to prove to us and validate the world is not perfect. But can I say, like, if you were to hold the concept of the world is perfect, it would create a lot of tension. If you were to truly commit to that idea, you would be in a state of full-on tension. Whereas you commit to revealing and naming the enemy, there's no tension in that. There's an addictive gratification. But if you hold the idea that's completely counterproductive to the programming, and that's why it's so radical, because it's literally the absolute opposite that you could go to with the programming.
It's a reversal, Kelly.
100% to the absolute most. For someone to stand with all this knowledge and then declare the world is perfect, they would be, ridiculed. They would be ostracized. I could lose 100,000 people just saying it on this show. We'll probably get like no views, because like it is the most like annoying thing to say. But what if the true pathway out of this is to understand, like with your mind, that the world is perfect and you start to generate from that space? You would be in creative tension. And tension represents creation. So there's no tension within the truth community. There's no tension there. We're delighted in it. We're reveling around like big fat pigs, loving every single enemy that we find, loving every single bug and beetle and black goo and everything we can find and make sense and uncover and talk about. And it's just this constant gratification. It's not tension. We don't hold tension there. And tension equals creation. So the very biggest thing that's happened to everyone in this community is they've released their tension. They've basically gone to gratification and they're in a state of non-creation. And that is the ultimate goal of predictive programming. The ultimate goal. So the most radical disposition would to be think the exact and utter opposite and to hold that.
Well, don't like in natural law, to create something new is the equal and opposite forces together to come in and create. That's how you create a child, right? You got a man and a woman, and then you have this synthesis that actually creates something new. So, are you talking about the polarity of holding both those concepts, Kelly? And then also, do you feel obligation then to, when you go down this and start thinking in this way, that I need to make sure what I present and talk about on here has got more purpose, or that I'm not feeding into that as well too?
Well, I am definitely in a state of evolving myself, 100%. I want to evolve. I'm ready to evolve all of this. I have assimilated the truth movement, everything that it holds for the last 30 years, and I am absolutely 100% ready to evolve it. 100%. So yes, for me, things will change. I'm changing it all. So TA is changing. Everything's changing. I want to evolve. I want to evolve it. And the way to evolve it is to start thinking in the most radical terms in opposition to it. There is like, we have this lofty idea of frequency bands. Everyone uses the same example of like when you have a ceiling fan and it's not on, you can see it, and then you turn it to 1 and it gets faster and you can see less of the blades. And then you get onto high speed and it's just like one blur, you can't see any blades. Like that's how people would explain a frequency shift. A rock vibrates so slowly we don't think it's animated or moving, but it is. It's just super slow to our eyes. Something vibrating higher than us, a different consciousness, would see us as basically standing still and so slow, right? So there's something about the evolution of all of this knowledge.
It's got to do with speed too. Yeah.
And it's got to do with speed. There is
doesn't it explain though too that speed is happening just at the pace of. That's why I still think it's important to look at the collective, because you can see the pace of events is quicker, right? And you can feel that within us as well too. So that's telling us something. Don't you think?
It's interesting. I mean, definitely we feel that time's speeding up and that there's a sense of speediness in our reality and that everything's, we're losing time. But I would have to say that that may be part of the predictive programming
Well, I
because
think
our
that,
world is governed by time, their time.
and the internet, right? Like the online world moves fast, and it seems like there's so much more happening. So I think that that could be a part of it too. Because you go out and into the bush again, like Jolly Swag, right? That it was slow, right? It seemed like there was heaps of time there, but we're just so bombarded with information on the internet that you think all this stuff's happening, and so the perception of time is sped up. That's what
You know what makes you feel quick too in your thoughts and like anxiousness? Coffee, Kelly.
Coffee,
Coffee.
bloody coffee. It's
You know
it's
what
speeding us up.
slows
Speeding us
you
up.
down? Like weed and
Weed.
tobacco.
Yeah, microdose weed and tobacco. Don't fall into the trap of having a whole little joint there, Mr. Holmes. Like, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Is
no, no, no,
Jethro
Jeff,
coming to
no,
blue out?
no Jethro joints this time, mate.
Yeah. So I think that we're feeling that time is speeding up is not indicative of our frequency speeding up. In fact, I think we're getting deader and deader. I think we are starting to match and become that of the dead. And that and that we're in a state of deception to think that we are actually growing our consciousness through obtaining the knowledge of our enemy.
Well, do you think the pace, and if stuff's going quicker, because I've actually never even thought about this, because I've always thought like raise your vibration. I've always thought as a lesser distance between polarities. But if I'm thinking about that too, then because it made me think when you said about Jolly Swag. So if everything's about coming back to self and or like center and considering the earth as well too, it's slow, isn't it? All the grounding things are slow. And if that is like if the awakening is attached to symbiosis with us and the earth, then yeah.
Well, I mean, technology by its nature speeds things up.
It's
And
everything.
100%. That's why
So
we're
do
getting
you think
more
that
dead.
it's almost like an artificial awakening that's tied to technology? So
100%.
it's not. So we're
Mm-hmm.
actually missing something that's much more subtle and slow.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
It's the
From
simulated
us.
wisdom. Cam and I were talking about this last night. It's the simulated
Just
wisdom.
doing my head in now. It's like I've never thought about that.
Yeah, it's the simulated wisdom. It's not real. It's not in the real world.
But I've always kind of thought that that's matching something else that's happening natural. But that doesn't necessarily mean what's happening natural is at extreme pace either.
No, definitely not. And of course, the missing piece to being present on to yourself and taking your mind back is your imagination, which unfortunately, another thing about becoming dead is you lose the use of your imagination because by its nature, you would put that at the beginning of your life. At the very first few years is when you would use your imagination. And now there's no imagination required because the next reveal is going to happen and the next reveal is going to happen and the next truth is going to come and the next research is going to happen and the next person is going to be shot and like this is constant like little trail of munchies, for all the
Dopamine hits, yeah.
They're dopamine junkies.
but I'm telling you that the world's people, those that have a consciousness that are asking questions are becoming dead.
So do you think? Do you know what? There might be that the awakening might be subtle and gentle, and the other stuff is rapid. Do you know what I mean? They're the two differences.
If we are governed by the dead and we live under the empire of the dead and we're surrounded by dead bones, and bones is in everything that we consume and holds up every industry and all human organs and meat and blah, blah, blah. And we are run now by artificial intelligence, which is of the dead. It's just by its nature non-life. Then those that spend their time online, doing what we do as truthers and researching and doing all of that are mimicking that of the dead. It is becoming a symbiotic relationship. Like if I was to truly vox pop everyone I've ever met over the last 20 years and asked, do you feel dead inside? I can tell you that systematically over the last 20 years, the answer would be increasingly yes. I feel dead inside. I am emotionally feeling dead inside. Why would we not? To name the enemy over and over and over and over and over and over again for years, to define it, to name it, to see it, to own it, to revel in it, to be addicted to naming it, to owning it, to revealing more and more and more and more of it, we become deader and deader and deader. Because every time we do that, we are not in a tension point of life and living and creativity and creation. Do you see how how we are now subtly moving? If we were to evolve within this community, we would have to let go of giving a shit about the enemy. We would have to let go of all contracts that we've made with our intelligence, with theories and logics within this space. We'd have to let go of every fixed variable which is a fact. We'd have to let go of it all. And not because it's right or wrong, or that we're right or wrong, or it exists or it doesn't exist, simply to disengage your mind from it in order to re-engage your mind on tension that is moving you towards creation. So we're never going to get out of this. I know everyone is saying there's going to be a moment, something's going to happen, there'll be an event, there'll be a savior, there'll be another COVID, something's got to happen. Everyone says that. It's our only hope. That's what everyone puts their hope on. At the end of the day, something external will happen to change all of this. But it won't. Because
Jesus is coming,
has
man.
to be internal and it's individual. It is not an external mass event. And whatever mass event happens externally is simply going to put you into more, cement more of the programming. Like all of this is even more real now because we were right. Now we're even more fucked. Now it's even more shit.
Well, it's true. I mean, yeah, rabbit holes go down, right? So we probably don't want to be digging holes down into the ground. But I mean, it's a good point, because we all say we need to focus on what we want, but we're not, and we're externalizing everything too, right? Everything we learn, it's to externalize it. It's not to sit and ponder on it. It's to talk about it, right? Like put it straight back out there. I heard this. Did you hear that? Oh, what about this? And what about that? And and we never see, you never see a speedy guru, right? All these old wise sage dudes they're pretty slow. They sit there and meditate and think. And
you know what I think though, you got me on like the Messiah one. I think, and the reason why so many people attach to that Messiah story, even people that aren't deep into religions, right? They still hold that core belief, right? And it's the same in the New Age. It's the same as them thinking fight. It doesn't matter. It's attached to this moment of what you can call the Messiah. But I think that is so embedded because that is all, like we know this. That's all your story. So it's something that it's external, but it's exactly what you're saying, Kelly. It's like it's your own creativity and just externalizing it. So there is merit in actually looking at some of that collective stuff because it's telling something about you. It's not yours. It's mimicking it, right? So I'm not saying like I'm not saying completely throw it away because even to the point that you've come to that conclusion or theorizing on it means that you had to look at the other stuff originally too. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a moment of evolution here. And you've got to commit to it. And it's not it doesn't come with instant gratification. There's not a big movement of people revealing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and, debunking the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. This space is comfortable because there's community attached to it now. We've got community here, we've got friends, and we've got people that are like interacting with us here. So it creates like a space like this is kind of real. You know, like it's mimicked that space. Like it's kind of real. I've kind of got friends here. I've kind of formed community here. I've got people commenting and talking at me. You know, it's kind of there. It's like simulated, you know, but it's not until you step into the real world and then you actually meet the community that you're like associated with online that it becomes real, that it's real, that you actually have a direct. So for like this whole ecosystem of truth seeking, it's mimicked real enough to keep us feeling like it's part of the world, the real world, right? That it's a movement on the real world. But it's not. It's a movement simulated on the real world. Their community simulated on the real world. Their wisdom simulated on the real world. And within all of that, you are not using your own creative faculties. Barely anyone has enough space in their mind now to use their imagination. No new questions are coming forward, just a repetition of the same information, variations of it, and nothing is getting resolved, never will. It is not designed to be resolved. It's designed to continually replicate itself, you know, until and when they feel like they're losing that, something will just happen that'll grab everyone back. You know, it's so sticky. It's like a big sticky mental net that's been cast over the conscious creators of this realm. So it doesn't matter how like intelligent or authoritative or how much leadership you have or how much wisdom you have in this space. You are by nature like completely out of touch with your own real life and your own power and your own mental ability to get out of this loop. The longer you stay here, the longer you are in it. And nothing's going to change it or fix it. The ascension process will be simulated. The ascension process will be simulated. But the ascension process of a real human is about frequency. But for that, you have to be in the real world, in your real body, in your real imagination, using your real mind with no mirrors. That's why the addiction's so powerful, because there's 1,000 million mirrors that you're looking into. And they all say, you belong here, you belong here, you belong here, you belong here, you belong here and here and here and here, and we love you here and here and here. It's like mirror, mirror, mirror. Take all that away, you're left with what you are as a human being in its consciousness, with all this knowledge, you know, with all this knowledge. I do not plan to stay here much longer. I feel at the end of this journey with this information, I've enjoyed our ocean series because it feels like it's a songline back to our origins. I've enjoyed the catacomb series because it feels like a songline back to our origins. I've enjoyed grounding all and earthing all of this truth movement. But now I understand that it's captured and hijacked my power. And as long as I stay connected into that space, regardless of what's happening in the world, as long as we stay there, we are never awakening from it. And to awaken from it would be to dispel it, to get rid of it. And you watch how flat and empty your life will feel. It will feel dead inside. What a downer.
Good man, I know, right?
Downer.
We've got to get off the crack, Dave.
I mean, I've been edging to this for years now. I've been edging towards this for a long time, but it's very unromantic. It's very unexciting. It's like
how I feel. I can't put into the words that you've said, and I think you articulate it very well. And I think a lot of others would feel the same. And I felt the same too. I wouldn't have put it in those terms, and I wouldn't be able to articulate it like that. But for me, a lot of the times when I get to that point, I express it in apathy and pull away, right? But you're right, and then I do get drawn in by the next thing, right? So, and I think like, we always know the fucking answer though too, but it's like an exhausting game, and it's actually you've given me I haven't got an answer now, but I've got a lot to think about and ponder on that actually. I'll probably talk it to
Well,
you
I mean,
about.
you spent a bit of time away, right? In Thailand, and you sort of didn't do your potty for a while. Like, did you find a
I did.
difference then between more time online?
I've well, I ebb and flow for for periods, and at the moment now I'm not online much too, just because I'm working more. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I always want something. I think I've been a junkie in the extent that I want the next new
All
thing.
of us.
But it's
This is man.
but it and they kind of always take you back to the same things too.
Well, and even if we just go from COVID, right? 6 years, like the truth of community has grown exponentially, the information, but what's happened? It's actually got worse around us. We haven't really achieved anything, have we?
No. And but I think there's another element too with what is mainstream now is
Wow.
old conspiracies from 10, 15 years ago. And like I'm just looking on my social media and it's a bloodbath with this stuff. And then I'm like, there is absolutely no point in me adding to any of that. Do you know what I mean? Like
Well,
that,
that's the whole repetition
so,
thing as well, right? Yeah, exactly. There's not that much info out there, but it's being repeated a lot.
yeah. But I think the real profound stuff is I remember you said to when we were talking me and Madeline in our last podcast, um, and Kelly, what did she say?
What did she say?
You no, that's right. You were talking about, and you said that you never have any great insights coming from a book or a podcast or whatever, right? You said like your greatest insights come from you doing real mundane stuff, and there actually is a lot to that with people doing rote tasks and things coming to you. Whether it be gardening or dishwashing or all that kind of stuff. But then you said like the nature element too, and I found that so true. And I really listened to that. And I've been driving around a lot in my job and I've been turning off like podcasts and music.
Yep.
And the shit that's coming into me, it's really true. The thing is though, I think we've garnered enough information. And I'm not an academic in that sense. I like to take in information. But the real stuff, it was like what you were saying before, that there's like well, you didn't say it, but I said it. There's like a subtlety in the stillness. And we're at this rapid, like I had a period where I was just always taking information. Even if I was doing something, I'd have the
All of
phone next,
us.
always had a podcast. It was just my head's, and do you know the only time I got to relax was like that half hour before you went to bed and then laying in bed and when there was stillness. And that was when I was getting insights. The fucking 30 minutes of the day where nothing was happening. So I think there's a lot to it. I think that like we honestly do have all the answers, but it's in the questioning. And I think this is why you always, especially you, Cal, like we advance like the next level, and then you two doing this series. It's actually like it's phenomenal because it just brought in something new that I hadn't seen before. But it's through the questioning, like to be able
Yeah.
to ask the question, right? And sometimes a very simple question.
Yep, absolutely, because that's our nature. And we literally have come from a time that I don't believe was too long ago, where we were interconnected with the trees. That we lived in a realm that was fully 100% one. We were interconnected by the nature of the environment around us. And we've not forgot that. We don't lose that. This idea of coming here with amnesia, I think it's a bullshit story that's been part of the programming because I certainly don't feel like I've lost that memory or that knowledge or that connection. Is this like, but for few generations now, and not that many, maybe 5 or 6, but for a few generations now, we've been generationally programmed, right? So I feel like we are coming out of a generational programming that's not that far gone, not that long ago. And so we were born this lifetime generationally, following up on the questions that our parents and then our grandparents potentially asked. Each generation would have asked more questions to understand more information because they have been programmed. And so they started to fill it in. So we're just the end result of that genetic line, you know? But so I guess what I would say to everyone in summary is that the truth community needs to get to a point where they understand that the end of the line is to take your attention fully off the enemy. Because once you fully take it off the enemy, fully, and have no more engagement with it, no more wanting to know anything about it, no more, which is, oh, so everyone's going to be like, boo, Kelly, boo, as if, like being that person that does not have an interest in obsessing about the enemy. Because literally, if you break down the truth movement, we have spent 20 years obsessing about the enemy. We have given all of our creative faculties and intelligence and consciousness to obsessing about the enemy. We have made the enemy so big, so fucking big and strong and, unstoppable. We have made it so unstoppable because we are obsessed with it. It's like we're in a fucking love relationship with it. Like it's like we're giving all of our passion and emotions and feelings and love and even our sexual gratification to it. Like we are literally thinking only of our enemy. That's what the truth community can be summarized, in a way that's really uncomfortable and annoying. I understand that. And it's not romantic and exciting. I understand that. It's not everyone's going, yes, Kelly, I'm feeling good with this one. They're all like, you're fucking, that's horrible realization. But in what way have we done anything other than form a complete emotional, physical, intellectual bond of love with our enemy?
It's time to like let it go, Kelly. We need to like break it, end this relationship. Did it take 20 years?
Yeah, man, I've been in this since I was 20. So yes,
Yeah,
it's taken
mate,
a long,
yeah,
I've had a
30.
long love affair with the enemy. Yeah. Yeah, as we all
It's an
have,
addictive
right?
relationship, man. We got to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean it's like honestly, like what is it? Your brain doesn't know the difference between good and bad.
Well,
You know
it's
this.
the same. It's the same in Christian theology too. You know, with like especially the Baptist church and that, they talk about Satan and the devil more than creation.
Yep.
That's the obsession is on the and now too, like with like the likes of Candace and stuff like that. The focus is on the synagogue of Satan and the Jew, right? Like
The enemy.
yeah. Well, it's yeah. Well, in all its senses and manifestations.
Hmm.
Our
You
brains.
are
But,
right.
that's the
So,
thing. The whole small hats, finally we can talk about it. And they've come out as, yes, the new biggest, baddest enemy. We knew it was them, but there'll be another one deeper. Who's controlling them, right?
yeah, there's like some ultra Jew that's at like the next level, species of Jew.
Super Jew.
Do you guys agree with the idea that your brain does not know a distinction between what is good and bad, what you like or don't like, or what you want or don't want? Its only distinction is that you are focused on it, and therefore it shall manifest. It doesn't like if you
Hmm.
say,
Yeah, yeah.
yep.
That's a Shakespeare quote, right? Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
So your brain can't distinguish think about all the attention and focus you've put on the enemy. Like that would supersede even your greatest relationships. The amount of
Hmm.
energy and time and hours
Yeah.
and focus we have put
Shit.
on naming the enemy
See, that's why we're single, Dale. Fuck.
is our
It's
greatest
we've been
relationship.
in a relationship with the fucking enemy the whole time. This abusive.
Absolutely. Your brain doesn't know. All it knows is you must fucking love this. You fucking love this because we're spending all our time looking at this. It's not saying this is a bad thing or a good thing. It's saying you love this. Your focus is on this more than anything
Oh,
else.
I
And
get
like,
you. So, yeah, do we know if our actions, are good or bad?
yeah, it doesn't know
But it
Well,
when you
seems
can
good, right? But yeah.
I think you're right though, Cal. Like even to the sense of like beings and even gods and stuff, they are created by thought. And the more I remember like George Cavaslis used to speak about this. He's like, try not say, "Oh my God," or "God willing," or "God for one day," and he goes, there is a being that is actually is a it is a thought construct that is just taking these energetic hits that is a creation of us by like especially when you say oh God willing or whatever like you're giving the power because God you're saying that is all your creativity something that you're saying is created you're giving all acknowledgement to that then add in 6 billion people but it's like It can be anything.
It can be anything. So what have we created by pointing at all the psychos and the pedophile, what do I call them? PDF files? Is that what I'm supposed to say? You know, that's because and they could literally be thought forms, right? Because especially if you take it back to we create reality with our thoughts,
Yeah.
you know, are we creating the problem that we're trying to solve?
I mean, you can
Campbell,
tell
have you
there's a
seen
way.
the Imagination Land episode of South Park?
I don't remember it, don't I?
Oh, dude, it's one of the greatest ones ever.
All
But
right.
you would actually like it. It's like they deal with this whole concept. And this guy turns up one day and he's like, I'm from Imagination Land. And then he takes him to this place. And everything, eventually it ends with Kyle has to suck Cartman's balls because he's like, anything you imagine can be true. So Cartman like does. But anyway, it's but all of them are there, right? So like all the gods and like Krishna and Moses, like all these kind of people, but then they've got like Captain Planet, and so they're dealing with this whole concept that everything that is there is a
Thought is
creation of
created.
thoughts.
Mm.
Yeah, but then you deal with this whole thing of have you ever had an original thought? That's another one too. Like
I
has
know. I
one,
used to think about that a lot.
but then
An original thought, right?
yeah, but because people say, you know, like it's all out there, it's in the freaking, it's in the ether or whatever. Like, but then nothing can anything that is real has to be created in the human mind first. Like anything, when you talk about a light bulb or a
Yeah,
car
yeah, yeah.
or shit that hasn't even been invented yet, right? The spark of that had to come from an individual. Do you know what I mean? That so it was that, and that's something that is physically created that come from nothing but a
Mm.
synapse in the brain, or like not even that. Do you know what I mean? Like even that's a manifestation.
So how do we know
So
that the cabal or the Illuminumis or whatever are no different from a light pole? Like someone, you know, everything's created in your mind first and then in reality. So like literally that whole thing got running on that logic could have just been created because people started thinking about it.
yeah,
Well, I can tell
well,
you predictive programming would present an idea, repeat it enough times, and it would become.
Mm.
So, yeah, I
Like
mean,
could be entities too, right? And then if that happened, all they would want is more and more attention, right? So that they can get more and more
and you can tell.
energy.
You can actually literally tell. You can tell when you're engaging predictive programming, and I tell you how. It's very simple. It's addictive. It's
Yeah.
appealing to your mental programming. It's
yeah,
addictive. It's addictive. It gratifies you and it's addictive. It's that loop, right? Whereas when you're dealing with creator tension, it doesn't have that addictive quality. It's actually it's quiet, it's still, it's focused, it's within yourself. It's requiring movement from you. You know, there's no convenience on that path. You're using your disposition. So as I speak this out to everyone, you won't be feeling excited about it. Like if I literally told you like to stop every interaction you're having right now with the enemy, meaning everything you're reading, looking at, scrolling by, anything that represents the they, the agenda, the enemy, whatever word you want to use, you will go through a detoxing process of feeling empty, uninspired, and confused about who you are, because we have begun, and this is where it's a lost process. This is where it's successful for them because we're now on the loop of like literally not knowing how to get the same hit from within us or from the real world.
yeah. It's like coming off a drug, Kelly.
100%.
Totally.
And it's the worst type of drug. It's the worst drug. It's the most mind fucking drug. It's so ingrained now, like tentacles in our psychology, in our whole disposition. It's ingrained. It's almost literally impossible for someone to say, I'm out. The world is perfect. Enough of this love affair with the enemy. Almost impossible. Everyone would be very deeply challenged and without feeling like their lives have no meaning, because we are in a situation now where the enemy defines the meaning, the relationship to it, at least.
Because it creates a purpose in the fight though too, Kelly. So that is actually that's telling you that purpose is actually missing from the individual, possibly, right?
I mean, what are you fighting
That
though?
Well,
there's
simulated purpose, right?
yeah, yeah.
What are you fighting? And you see, like, you only really have to have this conversation once because it kills the vibe, man. Because the vibe of the party is in the uncovering and the revealing. The vibe is the like,
Don't rip this one out in the Blue Mountains.
I mean, the in the Blue Mountains, it will be like probably like the last time we go through this sort of like, the show at the level that we're talking about it. But I don't, the work that we have gone through intuitively with those two series, I stand by. There's more to it, but I don't feel like we're naming enemy there. I feel like we're tracing our roots back to where we should be now. So that's why it fascinates me. It's about, the new line forward by understanding how we got there, but it's not about the enemy. Not in, even though it's called the invasion, it's not about an enemy, as so to speak, but here we are. Here we are. And every single thing we look at online right now, everything is about the enemy, all of it. And now it's really big and powerful and scary, but we're addicted to it. So we love it. Our brains love it. We love it. We love this enemy. We would like be kind of, I think the world would be disappointed if it just disappeared. I think, like it's like everyone's really confused about why they're even doing it in the first place. Because if suddenly the enemy wasn't there, would you guys feel like you had succeeded in this battle? Would you feel like you had completed the task? Or would you be just like walking around empty and weird and not know who you are?
It's a good question, right? I mean, that's what everyone sort of expects is going to happen one day, is it'll all just be, it'll all go away or whatever and be perfect. But then we're going to deal with ourselves, right?
Then we can go create stuff then. Campbell, are you going to be a master teacher too? Is that
Oh, wow. Hopefully probably not as masterful as Mrs. Jones here, Ms. Jones. um, yeah, I mean, this is a thing, right? I mean, it's all about wisdom, I guess, really, in the end, isn't it? Which is, walking the talk, you know, finding something different. I mean, all this online stuff is really, it's not original thought, is it? We're all running off other information and other things that are being put out and off the news, and it all ultimately comes from the mainstream, and then it gets thrown around and talked about, and so I mean, I can't be teaching about this stuff if I'm going to be. Like, I think, that's the thing. I mean, it's a worthy goal, though, right?
I mean, even the fact that we have a word for the mainstream.
The
Maybe the
mainstream water, it's very
mainstream.
watery.
This is the thing that you
Go
don't
with
want to be.
flow.
This is what you're not going to be. You're not going to have a picnic at the mainstream. That's not where you're going. You're important because you're defining the non-mainstream. You're
Mm.
defining the opposite to the mainstream, the fucking big stream. That's where you're going, where the real enemy is, you know? Like, it's just like we are addicted to and in love with the enemy. And I'm sorry, everyone, like, that's where your brains are at. Just so you know that. The biggest
do you
relationship in
think
your
you're going to
life.
start changing your wording and stuff now too, Kelly? It's just made you think about that as well.
I have no idea. I have no idea, but of course, the more first of all, stop being in love with the enemy. First of all, stop having your greatest relationship in your life with the enemy. Stop having sex with the enemy. Just stop all of that. Stop the gratification coming from the enemy. Like all of that, stop. Like start speaking only when you have something to say and only when a question appears to you will you go and seek the answers. Like don't wait for the enemy to come and bring you flowers and say, hey baby, let's go out for dinner tonight, I've got
But
all
the
these
enemy
new
is
reveals for you.
he's like seducing. Like Al Pacino and like Devil's Advocate.
Yeah,
That is like him, isn't he?
of course, because that's
That
the
is like
nature of the technology. It's seductive in nature because it's all working off our brains, seduces our neuro pathways, seduces our intelligence. We love it. We love it. We love to fuck it. We love to eat with it. We love to dance with it. And we love to have it for dinner. And we love to talk to it more than anything. You know, like God, what would we talk about if it wasn't there? Thank God it's there because it's preoccupied our brains for all these years and decades. Like we love our enemy. I don't know why everyone's so anti-Satan and anti the black goo and anti the Jews and anti everyone because we love them. Like our brains know no different. Just I'm really homing this. Our brains know no different. No different. So that's the play. So like how to get out of the play. How to get out of that play, how to get out of that game, Are you interested in getting out of that game? Is anyone listening interested in getting out of that game? I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anyone talking about it. You know, I could start talking about this and maybe resonate with two people in the whole world because everyone loves the enemy.
And the
And
energy is convenient too, right?
yep. And you drop the enemy and you've got to look at where in your life you're holding tension. Where in your life you're in a state of creativity. Where in your life are you a creator? Where is your tension point? Because you drop the enemy and the love affair with the enemy, you drop their map. You drop their end game. You drop their goals. You drop it all. You drop your seeking to somehow get to the end of this. It's never going to happen. And that's confronting. I'm sorry, everyone. That is really confronting. If you drop this as your purpose, as your reason for existing, as your reason for intellectualizing, as your reason for chewing on anything, if you the only thing you're interested in, and you drop that, that's confronting. Because that's you getting off the crack and moving into reality again. And it's confronting because a lot of you guys let your lives fall apart. A lot of you guys are existing without putting any attention on your purpose, vision, or mission. You don't care about it because you're too interested in the enemy. The enemy's dancing with you. You don't put the time into yourself, your self-work, your self-advancement, understanding why you're here, what do you want to bring in the real world. And then, of course, it calls you to action because then you're responsible for making moves, like real moves. Like not dancing with the devil moves, but real moves in alignment with you and your faculties and your mental state and your purpose. And everyone has let their lives just fall apart, existing comfortably and conveniently without having any attention on this. All the attention you've put on the enemy, imagine if that had all gone onto yourself.
Wow,
Imagine who you
it's
would
like the
stand to
10,000
be.
hours, Campbell. We're like,
Yeah, we're
we're
experts.
We could have been
Yes.
masters of the universe
I
by now.
know, right? We took the wrong bloody degree.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Hey, I mean, it's just very interesting. And it's so interesting within the truth community because, like, there's a big genre of people out there in the personal development community that do this, that are all on to their purpose, vision, and mission and, all that stuff. But they haven't been onto this. So we're in a unique disposition right now because we've got a unique knowledge set. We've got a
Well,
unique.
that's right, because they're in the self-help and they're coming without the base of knowledge.
Well, we have a unique knowledge level. Whatever it is, Dale, whatever we
Well,
would
you,
summarize this as, it's unique and it's powerful. And it's been a really long journey to get
well,
here.
what about that this might have been if you said that your whole thing was to be a master teacher, you fucking had to go through this entire process,
Of
right?
course.
So it's like you couldn't be a self-help or help others or be a teacher in that sense if you hadn't actually done that all yourself too, anyway, to come to that realization. So there's the purpose within it.
That's
Sometimes
one.
the purpose of an experience is to know what not to do now,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
For
know
Cool.
when you're
sure.
finished with something.
Yeah.
And it's an energy. It's an
Yep.
energy, you know, when you're done with something, whether
Yep.
it be a person, a topic, whatever. Do you know what I mean? You know when even when a conversation, when the conversation's fading out, you're like, it's fading out now. It's fading out. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
know.
Yep. And that would be indicative of a shift in frequency.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, it's totally true because my mind, like everyone's minds, who are all of the minds that are connected to this, it's like searching for belonging, searching for connection, searching for an understanding of why I don't feel like I belong to this earth when I'm from this earth. Like they're basic human questions, value questions that have come from our wounds, and we all share that, where do I belong? Where do I belong? Where do I belong? Like everyone is here with that in their heads, and we've got inquisitive minds. There's attitude there. There's edgy attitude. We want to fucking know. Like you want to tell us as reptilians, well, we're going to go there, man. We're not going to be turned away from that. You want to tell us it's fucking blah, blah, blah running? Well, we'll go there. You know, we're in. We're Generation X. We know nothing. We're stupid. We were before the internet. We literally were before the internet where no one knew anything. And we were cool with that. We were comfortable with that, right? So, like, we're comfortable to go into places that we don't know, and we're good with that. You know, but at some point, you have to take, what's the word? You have to self-assess.
Mm.
You've got to decide, are you going to be here when you're 67? Are you going to be here when you're 89? Like, are you going to get up one day and look around and think, whoa, the enemy's still here. The reveals are still happening, but my life doesn't exist. I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything. And you know, how masterful of these predictive programmers to get humanity's best minds into a state of non-creation. How masterful.
Yeah, that's what it has, and it does create stagnancy. You even see in certain circles, I wanted to go do this, I can't because of X, Y, Z, or this event's going to play out the next year or two. Do you know what I mean? Like creates that stagnancy, even in that sense.
As far as world events, yeah, I can't travel, I can't do this. Yeah. I have to move country. This one's going to be destroyed, and all that. I mean, yeah. So we're making life decisions based on what the enemy tells us.
Yeah.
So true. But if you're out of that, the difference is, so within our community, we'd be like, well, we can't go here because of that and that and that and that. And we, you know, as you said, Cam, like it defines what we're willing to do, you know, based on what we know. And the sovereignty movement's so ironic because the more sovereign you get, the less sovereign you get. You know, the more sovereign you get, the less ability you have to do anything. So you get like least sovereign. But like it, as opposed to being in a space external to that in your creative tension, then you know your intuition will say, go there. And you won't have like a whole set of reasons why that's a good or bad idea. Your intuition will just move you to where you need to be for the thing that you're creating. So the difference is so potent. One is going to give you all the reasons to be scared of, be logical of, ask how, why, is this good or bad? Like it just like it maps it out for you so that you can really assess it. But your intuition will just be like, go there. You know, so like it really is slowing us down. And at the end of the day, as a truther, aren't you in this to better the world? Like, aren't you in this to have a perfect world? Aren't you in what is your end game? Why are you two in this space? What's
Yeah,
the point?
yeah,
Why
to make the world better. Definitely, that's definitely it. Yeah.
is it? Is that it?
Well, that's
Is
that's
that
that's
why?
really the ultimate bottom goal. Yeah, is to make a change to make things better, right? Like, of course it is. But we just all think that we need to know what the problems are first, right? That's the program, I guess. But you know, like we've talked about, it's what we focus on that we bring into reality. And you know, so we've definitely not been focusing on what we want, on the, you know, the world is perfect and ourselves, right? It's all the outside input.
It's just the biggest irony. We're all here
Huge irony,
online
yes.
to make the world a better place, and we're all absent from the world, doing nothing to make the world a better place at all. All we're doing is like adding to the simulated version that has nothing to do with making the world a better place. Nothing at all. At all. And like, what a waste of our lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we are though. I mean, even in the sense of like your gatherings in your community. Because I mean, what you can't make the world a better place. It's a big world, right? You can make your world a better place.
But Dale, why are you doing all
Well,
this? Tell me your reason.
Well, if I think to like when I started, like before doing anything publicly, that was for me. It was the awe and the curiosity of the world and the universe and what I don't know. That was the draw.
Yeah.
Doing the public stuff came out of um and it was an anger in the COVID period.
Yeah.
And really, I would say from a personal point of view, it was an absolute need to express myself.
Yeah.
And and because my freedoms and my sovereignty was under attack, and therefore so was everyone else's, and I wasn't. There was like a moral side of it. I'm
Yes.
not, and yeah, it was just an absolute need and desire to speak. But it's changed a lot now too, and I think that's why the discussions have changed.
Mm.
It's a completely different time now. I think the questions are not that the questions weren't there then, the big ones, but there's another layer to the, like I think what I said before, like there's a subtlety to like I think like what's calling us is like something. It's like a whisper. Do you know what I mean? Whereas there's been a lot of this other stuff has been a lot of loud noise.
I mean, the nature of this community are warriors. Like we have warrior energy, obviously. Obviously.
Yeah, that's kind of I think that what drawed a lot of those people together, and yeah, like that sternness and a lot of self sovereignty too, right? Too, and like yeah,
Mm.
I
I mean,
think
it's a double-edged sword, right? Like the internet's brought so many people together. Like, people have met people, we've done gatherings and shows and all this stuff. But at the same time, like here we are 6 years later, it's hasn't solved any problems, and most people are just in a loop going around and around. There's not much new thoughts or information really coming out. And now at this point, most of it's coming from the mainstream that you see as far as, truther type stuff. It really is talking about what the mainstream put out as stories and trying to figure out this one and that one and what's going on. And so
well, what
it's,
about if everything's perfect, Campbell?
well, if everything's perfect, then it's, for things to change, things have to change, right? At least it's doing something different for one. And if we do believe that we're creating reality, by our thoughts, well, then at least I guess we're in alignment with that point of view. And it's worth a try, right? It hasn't been tried before. That's the other thing. Like we're clearly not getting the results we want through all this truthering or whatever it's called.
Maybe we need to define it clearer and say the world is perfect in me.
Yeah.
The world is perfect in me.
Well,
I want to know, Dale, what that is. What is the world is perfect in me? What does that be? What does that mean? How do I walk through this reality, knowing everything that we know, with the idea that the world is perfect in me, and that I am no longer responsible or reactive to or responding to it not being the case. There's something about doing that has the next level of power to it. It's probably the first time that we'll experience power of ourselves.
Hmm.
The
Well, I
world
think to
is
get there,
perfect.
you have to believe in your own personal power, right? Like if the world's perfect, then you have to believe that you're fine, right? That you're looked after. And that comes back to the fact that you can look after yourself and everything you need is here and now and within you. So it has to go back to self-belief and all that kind of stuff, right? And personal empowerment.
I mean, there'll be a lot more space in your head.
Oh,
You'll get a lot more
definitely.
real estate back. You'll get a lot more real estate back because you're going to like stop giving it away and selling it off cheap price to the next reveal. Cheap price, $1 block in pathway.
you know,
Cheap price,
you know,
you'll get it
Special
all
30
back.
for you.
You'll start to own your brainwaves again. That's fascinating. That's
you
fascinating.
can
Like
reclaim
this,
them.
imagine if the truth community got as interested in this as they are currently in handing their minds over to the enemy and having love affair with the enemy. I mean, how would everything change? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this would be like a discipline. Because again, the other thing about it is we've lost all that discipline because we're not holding creative tension. So we've lost all that discipline. There's nothing hard about this. There's
Well,
nothing hard about selling our brains. We love it. We're like, here, take my next neuro pathway, take my next neuron, take my next idea, take my next question. It's not hard to do what we're doing. But man, it would take discipline to completely do the opposite. It would be like we'd be setting into the samurai again, man. We'd be like starting to actually act like warriors again. We'd be actually starting to focus our minds again. We'd be starting to like determine who we are again. We'd stop being the lost, white, weird, funky tribe. You know, we'd start to like, you know, take hold of ourselves again. Like, and it's not sexy and it's not exciting and it's not gratifying, you know, until it fucking is. Until you start to validate it and give evidence to it and actually see what it does, you know? See, it's not a good party conversation. You know, like it doesn't have you in hysterics and it doesn't have you like, you know, getting excited and flipping into it. You're not jazzed about it. It's kind of anticlimactic and fucking like, wow, that sounds hard and empty and annoying.
Guess we're thinking
Hard,
different
empty, and
thought.
annoying.
So
Yes. So there you go. The internet's off limits. Time to shut it down. It's done it's done its job.
It's not time to shut community down or connection or anything that's real that you've built out of this space. Like that needs to be embellished and made even more brilliant, you know, made even more empowered and have more and more of that. You know, like that needs to just grow in reality, in real life.
And the only way it will is if we all, you know, turn the computers off and go outside. Isn't that in The Simpsons or something? They're all inside and they all come outside and everyone's rubbing their eyes, looking at the sun, going, "Oh my God, it's reality."
And we're so far away from it right now. We're so far away from it right now. You know, we don't even know what reality looks like or is. We don't know. We don't know. Everyone is like confused by it. That's how fucked we are. Everyone is so confused about it. They couldn't give you a distinctive answer, you know, of what it is. We're so like in the washing machine of programming that no one really understands what their reality is, what Earth is,
but
where
the
we are.
confusion of reality, most of it is coming through the internet. So you when you hear the term like, "Oh, it's so fucked," like I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's real. But it's like once you step outside, it's like it's all real. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can go and
So
touch a tree, right? Or pat a dog and they're real.
that's why I think like if there if there were ever like was an alien invasion or something like that, because if I saw that from my phone or the
Well,
computer,
exactly.
I would be like, oh, you know,
Yeah,
it wouldn't feel, but like to actually see it, walk out my door and see it,
that's different.
that would blow your mind.
And that's the problem with where we are is they can literally do this Project Bluebeam alien invasion just through phones and computers without anything existing in reality, and most people would believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
Look,
Which is
we
not a
can't
good
stay
place to
here.
be, right? Which pretty much means we're totally
Anyway, stop talking about the alien
manipulatable.
people.
You what? Something happy.
So, all right. So, yeah, sorry for negging you both out, and everyone who's listened to this
Geez,
podcast
on a Friday night too, man.
on a Friday night. I know it's annoying, but you know, we can't stay here.
No, it's true. No,
We
I agree.
cannot stay here. You cannot
This is the
continue.
marker for the next stage of the evolution, and it's like you are after decades. You maybe don't know what it's going to look like, but it's done. Do you
And
know what?
weirdly, it's like one of the first things that we learn. Sorry, Dale. Is
Sorry.
no thoughts of things. Focus on what you want. Like that's kind of one of the first things you learn coming into trutherism. But we kind of forget it, don't we? We put all our focus on what we don't want.
Yeah, and I think the best learning and the learning that, about yourself comes from learning from others. You know, I said like when you go away and spend time with people, because and that's why I think I love like biographies and like people's stories and stuff. Like, how many people do you know and you don't fucking know anything about them? Like, you know their
It's like
CV,
Facebook,
who they
right? And you
are.
see a
It's not
name
like,
come up,
okay,
and you sort of think you know the person, but you've never
yeah,
met them. Probably even never. You see their post come up, and the name's familiar.
yep.
It's like my Facebook friend, you know.
Oh man, yeah, I had like certain people that like we used to go out and piss like fucking every week for years. I knew fuck all about them. And there'd be someone else you go camping with for a week, and there's like a connection there, and then you start and you find out about their whole life and their in-laws and what they think about the world and what they think about themselves. Like to me, that's like, even that's a sense of creativity, right? Because you're actually opening yourself up to express yourself creatively to another person, and then that person now has a new perspective on life
Mm.
or something that they're like, you know, there's something that like someone told you 20 years ago, you always remember like that one thing that that person told you because there was something there. So I think like even that is like true freedom and expression of creativity, and you're learning from like real people. So it's not information that you've garnered from the internet or whatever. So like I think like the campfire, like that's a fucking big thing that needs to come back.
Yes.
And it's not doing anything. It's just like having time for it.
I
Yes.
can
Well,
tell you
that's the
that,
most important thing, I think, having the time for it.
Yeah.
well, all our time is taken up by the enemy, and only because we love it so much, right? But like I can say for sure that the most magical times of my life where things were aligning and flowing and randomness happened, all the stories I've told you guys over the years, like that was pre the internet.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was pre, well, that was pre me being, in it on this level. Like it all was in real life, and there were magical times. And I've heard so many people, me included, speak on this topic about, you know, I've just lost the magic, like the alignments, the rendezvous, the things happening, the books falling off shelves on my head, the people bumping into me who have a message or I've never met. Like all of that stuff is like so much more exotic and addictive
Yeah, our
than,
synchronicities come through tech so much now, don't they?
yeah. And it's false, simulated. Like the real world, to be clear, when you're in it for real, is so fun and magical. Like it is absolutely the opposite of the deadening version of us, obsessing about the enemy. Because in the real world, we're obsessing about life. And so the most amazing synchronicities happen. Like the most amazing ones happen in reality, but not here. You don't get synchronicity happening in this space. You don't. And anyone who talks about synchronicity as a set, fixed thing, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. It just feels like yet another part of the cog to keep you here. You know, the magic
I think
is
that's why I
offline.
think deja vu is such a good one too, because you know what? You can't even share deja vu with another person. If you have it, you can't even look at the person and go, "Oh, hey, did you get deja vu?" It's like
Mm.
it's yours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can't,
It's
you can't
yours. Yeah.
explain it, and it can be the most mundane thing, but it's like that's yours. So that's actually telling you that is between you and creation. Do you know what I mean? There's no one else. There's nothing else in between.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, that's right.
That's what we need
Like
to
the
get back to, right?
the time that I decided in my reality to like turn my world upside down and spend all night awake and go to sleep when the fucking sun came up, and spent my life for 3 weeks under the moon instead of under the sun, and flipped it. And I did it because I got given a gold pocket watch that had an inscription on that, said I'd quite like to do 6 impossible things before breakfast. And it was a Alice in Wonderland quote.
Mm.
And so like it was like, and that all came back because I was looking at a mural that I'd painted a white rabbit on the moon. I didn't know why. So I thought about it and chewed on that. And the next day someone gave me randomly a golden pocket watch, which had that inscription. So then randomly I just got inspired to do this for 3 weeks. And then I broke the retreat one night, and the next fucking morning, I opened my back door and there was a white rabbit, like on my doorstep. And we were out in the bush, and there's like rabbits are highly illegal. You get fined $50,000 for having rabbits out in the bush. They are considered a feral pest. No one had rabbits. No one had pet rabbits. A white rabbit out there in the bush is unheard of. It's completely out of place. After 3 weeks of doing this, guided by a white rabbit on the moon, I open my door and there's a white rabbit there. Now that is magical reality. And I can tell you, going through experiences like that are more jazzing than anything we do online, unless it's to do with the community, which jazzes me up. But like any reveal we have online is nowhere near the awe I felt when I opened the door and there's a white rabbit there. Like the internet doesn't give us a sense of awe. There's no awe. When Campbell and I, when we revealed the Ocean series and then the Catacombs, it was fucking excellent, Cam. But we weren't in awe. We weren't like,
No.
oh my God, how did that happen? You know, we can't, awe
Yeah,
is like the
there's a
highest
difference.
quality.
There's a difference. Yeah.
Big difference. So we've all forgotten what it's like to be in awe at our own creation. Because awe is one of the highest qualities a human could experience. But it's stolen here. The internet can't replicate awe. It cannot. It cannot. There's
I
nothing.
think awe again. It's like awe's gentle, isn't it? It's
Mm,
like shocking, but it's like it's gentle.
It's
mm.
like, I cannot
It's
believe. It's like,
awesome.
how the fuck?
Yeah.
Mm.
How is this just happened? Oh my God, how has this just happened? It's
Yeah.
all, you start to realize in evidence that you're like, you've got this magnetic power that just, it just does magical things, and we've all forgotten how to use it. We've all forgotten.
That's how when it like it makes you smile. You smile to yourself when you're sitting there alone and you just smile to yourself. You know that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I lived out fucking in the middle of nowhere, out in the bush. And one day I was like, I sat on my couch and I'm like, I need a map maker to create me a map of the stars. I need a map maker. How do I get a map maker? And I like chewed on it and had a joint for 5 seconds. And then I kid you not, the next night, someone knocked on my door, a friend of mine, just to come over randomly because they were passing through. And they brought with them a guest who was officially a map maker, like as a job. That's what they did. And like things like that, the more you exercise it and the more it's just your reality. And all, so when you're in that space, you have no care or time for the enemy. You have no care for it. Why would you care about it? Why would you care about it? Why would I care about the Jews? Why would I care about the Muslims taking over England? Why would I care? I mean, I don't care. I've just manifested a white rabbit. I don't care. Like my attention is in a non-caring state about that. That's how you get out of the programming.
Yeah.
Nice.
But anyway, I'm
Yeah, so I
sorry.
was just going to say we're going on about 2.5 hours or more now. So
Well, this is the first time I've
we've
spoken
thoroughly
about all this.
depressed everyone. Give them new questions to ponder on.
This is like I am only committed to doing this one show every week. That is my limit and max when it comes to this. And I'm like going to keep doing it because I like this is a genuine new conversation that we need to start working our way through. We need to start working our way through. Or the whole realm is going to be void of creators. And then you've got the nothingness, self-fulfilling prophecy, the end goal of being in love with your enemy. It's the nothingness.
Well, it's at the time when you've been in this for that long, looking at the enemy, and now you're pulling out where it feels like the majority of all the new ones are coming in. So I think
And this is where you rise to become a teacher.
So, Campbell, you better start on your
I
lower
know. Yes.
bachelor's degree while Kelly goes for the doctorate.
What's your
Yeah.
quest, boys? It's time to define. Next time on Saturday when we speak in the Blue Mountains, I'm going to ask you the same question. What is your quest? I will hope that you've tuned into it enough to have an answer there.
Got 2 weeks to think about that.
Yeah,
All
2 weeks.
right.
What is your quest? What is your quest? What magical quest is real for you? Why are you here? Why did you come here?
Yeah. Time to go slay the dragon.
And now that you know the enemy and it's like, it's just, you've done that. You've done that. So now what?
Yeah, we know the enemy.
You know the enemy. You do.
You know the enemy.
You do. You know it.
Well, Cal, I was
So
going to say I look forward to having a beer with you, but it won't be a beer. So, Campbell, it's going to have to be.
Yeah, mate, I'll have a red wine, you have a beer,
Oh,
and we'll all
good,
share.
yes.
Well, Kelly and I will share a joint. You're not allowed.
Oh, Dale, you can have one of my joints, which
Nah,
is like
I'm
a
not.
perfect microdosing balance. You won't even notice it.
All right, if it's yours and you,
Well, this
No
is
one
the
else.
difference. Yes, it
Do not
won't
smoke
be.
anyone else.
yeah, I don't want a disaster of what the others.
No, no, no. And you should have known that. You should have known better, my friend.
No, I was having a good time, and then
That was so random. You're like, no, no, I never smoke it. No, no, no. Yeah, give it here. Whoa.
Yeah, my God. My
That was
God.
crazy.
I was
We
mixing
both,
with the daiquiris. That's what it was. It was
The daiquiris. That was
Pamela and I both, we saw you out of the corner of our eyes from different parts of the campground, and we're like, Dale,
no.
no! Too late. We're like, see you later, Dale, in 4 days. Lovely knowing you.
Oh, well, I look forward to seeing you there. It'll be good.
Yes, yes, we will see you there in a couple of weeks. So everyone, 27th of this month, June. It's in like 2 weeks, basically. Katoomba in the Blue Mountains. We're having a concert, a full 8-hour show, and then a 4-hour Q&A on Sunday. Link to the tickets below. Come and
We've got
join.
dinner, the RSL, we've got a concert happening. Like, it is a full 4-day event, everyone. It's really going to be so super fun for
Yeah.
and anyone who's going to get their asses to the Blue Mountain. You've deserved it, because you've just done the second Jolly Swag Tour. You have literally found yourself to a difficult location in Australia, and it's going to be cold and unique. But man, I'm so excited to explore the Blue Mountains. Like, I've never really looked around there, and there's some fun things to look at. So, I mean, good on you guys for making the effort. We've almost sold out. So if you haven't bought your ticket, get it done this week. We're really excited to host you. It will be our best show yet. I promise you
It
that.
sure will. Come and join us. Yeah. All right. All the links below, guys. Well, thanks, Dale. That was an interesting chat. Well, more of an interesting listen for us, but
It was good as always.
Always a pleasure, mate.
So, wait, so are you guys leaving this chat feeling? What are you feeling? What's your dominant feeling here, having had that conversation? Just out of interest.
Well, I mean, I'm feeling like I need to detox and get off the enemy's crack, right?
Yeah. Mine is you actually put in words how I've been feeling for quite a long time, and I wasn't able to express it. So I think something, and I'm going to think about it.
It's always been a thing, right? Like, because we know in our subconscious that what we focus on is what we're building. Yet we've been doing the opposite, so it's a good kick in the ass.
I mean, at the end of the day, you guys, both of you, I would love to come to whatever it is you create in the real world. Like I would love to see what you both do in the real world. Like, it'll be fully supported. Whatever it is you both decide is your fucking thing that excites you, I will definitely be supporting it in the real world. And I'm excited to see what that fucking is. I have no idea.
And that's where magic lies, right? It definitely doesn't lie in the computer.
Anyway. Well, you're gonna have to wait and see. We'll see.
Yeah. What do you guys think? You should put it in the chat right now. What is Dale going to create in the real world? And what is Campbell going to create in the real world? What are your thoughts? Put it in the chat right now. I want to know. What do you think?
I would like to know, because I told you earlier that I don't know. So, like,
I'm with you at the moment, man.
Yep. All right. They don't know. So do you guys know for them? If you tune into both of them,
let us know. Give us ideas.
In the real world. I mean, man, you're both very loved. You're both very loved. You're both energetically very loved. So, whatever you choose to do for real is going to be very loved. So, like, I'm looking forward to seeing who you guys are in the real world, contributing to this amazing earth that is ours.
We got this, Dale.
All right. Right. Okay. All right. That was a strong and strange teaching and talk tonight, and not planned at all, but there it is. It comes out intuitively.
Yeah, indeed. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all in the Blue Mountains.
All right. You two go and chew on the toilet, philosophically get into it. And I love you, and I'll see you soon, both of you.
You too. See you guys.
See you guys.